Name game. Name game.
Hello, everybody. Hello. It is I, Trooper SJP, and this is the Academic Foxhole. And it's, console Saturday. No, I normally say PS4 Saturday, but, I'm saying console Saturday because what if I get an Xbox? Again. I mean, what I mean to say is, I have an Xbox. You know what? This is not why I went live. I went live right now a minute early, not because I wanted to talk about consoles, which I guess we're going to do today, but because I feel like, because Roller 300 said, I see you, anonymous gifter. And then Roller 300 said, better than anonymous grifter. And then I felt compelled to go live right now so I could say something to Roller 300 about this. And that is, well, it's not just Roller 300, everybody who's here. And I feel like Krellin will say yes, because sometimes we share a brain. Maybe not, though. Although, I mean, look, odds are. Other people may also say yes. So here's the thing. Does anybody else remember that movie from, like, the late 80s, early 90s, like maybe 1990, 89, 90, 91, around there? 90, maybe? I'm feeling like maybe 90, but before I joined the Army, right? So anyhow, The Grifters with Angelica Houston and people who are not Angelica Houston, but really Angelica Houston. Does anybody else remember this movie besides me? Because, see, no. Roller does not remember this movie. Yeah. Palette PH says, they call it the console because it's a consolation prize when you don't win a PC. Carl says, you did want to talk about the consoles. You want to talk about all the things. This is also true. See, okay, Hawkeye says, yes, the title's familiar. Right, Time of Gifts, right? John Cusack and Annette Bening. Right, John Cusack, Annette Bening, and Angelica Houston. I do know what Griftlands are. I don't know what Griftlands are. Oh, hi, Vo. What are Griftlands? Please explain. Baron Tor says, I remember the film, but I haven't seen it. Chromatic Chameleon's like, it sounds familiar. Right, so it was this movie, and it was about con people. Annette Bening, John Cusack, Angelica Houston, and I remember watching it as a kid when it came out. I probably watched it on HBO, you know? And I remember, like, they were all, look, Griftlands is a game. Oh. Tell you about the oranges. Which oranges? Oh my goodness. I'm a touch young for that movie.
Somebody's watching me.
That's fair. I always feel that somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. Whoa, I always feel that somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? Ba-da-ba-bow. Thank you for that follow, the Official Pie Guy. Also, Official Pie Guy, really important I have to ask. And actually, really, you don't have to answer. Anyone can answer. Everyone can answer. What are your favorite pies? Like, what are your favorite pies? I will go first. I really love many, many kinds of pies, right? But I really love a good peach pie. I think a good peach pie is... So, okay. I like a lot of pies. Really, I do. I like a lot of pies. But some pies are less exotic than other pies. Like an apple pie, like, okay, when I say exotic, I mean if I go to a restaurant, what is the likelihood that they'll have that kind of pie? And if they have pie at all. And if you go to a restaurant and they have pie, they're gonna have apple pie. boom, right? So for me, apple pie is not an exotic pie, even though I do love apple pie. But it's not like special when it comes to pies because you can get them so many places. But like, so I think for me, cherry and peach are those pies you're like, oh, they have a cherry pie? Oh, special, exotic. Oh, they have a peach pie? Oh, special, exotic. So I think for me, uh, cherry and peach would be, if we're talking about sweet pies, right? I mean, I will eat a pot pie any day or a shepherd's pie. Those are things that I will have without hesitation. But for me, when I think about like special exotic pies, I'm thinking cherry and peach of pies that I enjoy very much, but like you can't always get them because they're not always at restaurants. These are the things that I'm saying. And now I'm going to catch up on chat because chat has things to tell me. Roller says, it's a card battle game, either involving negotiations or field tracks. Oh, that sounds fun. A roguelike deck builder. Oh, well, now I have to pull up a tab is what's going to happen. Grift. By the way, if I'm going to talk about oranges, I will be talking about The Godfather and death, which also is a thing that I will probably do. I watched a John Cusack film recently, ironically. Oh, Barentor, which one? Apple Crumble, that's a really good one. My favorite, wait, Krellin, your favorite pie is extinct? What does that mean? What does that mean? DSB says, I prefer tarts to pies, so if I had to pick a pie, it'd probably be key lime. Oh, that's interesting. Hey, DSB. Oh, okay, I have to think about it. The official pie guy says coconut, custard, and pumpkin pie. However, being the official pie guy, my own personal flavor being the sentient pie that I am is pie flavored. You that was so hilarious, official pie guy. You maybe knock my headphones off of my head. I should fix that. Sentient pies, that's good. Barentor says apple pie is so good, and I will devour it always. Hawkeye says apple pie, growing up, fought by lemon meringue. Oh, Theo says, ate a great apple pecan pie the other day. Oh, that sounds really good. Barentor, pumpkin, peach, pecan are good too. Yeah, I also do love a good pumpkin pie. I love a good pumpkin pie. Vo says, went great with the homemade vanilla ice cream my friend made. Ooh. Pardon me. PH says, don't eat pot pie and drive. It's not safe. That's true, actually. Krone says, because my favorite pie is the Hostess lemon pie, and those don't exist anymore. They only make apple and cherry ones now. Okay, so the Hostess lemon pie was really good. The Hostess lemon pie was really, really good, and their cherry pie is not that great. Oh, now you're making me miss the lemon pie. Krellin, I'm not mad at you, but now I'm like remembering it, and I'm remembering, oh yeah, that was a really good pie. I have a follow-up question that I'm going to have to sort of see when I'm catching up on chat, which is about your, like, of the Hostess treats, right? Their pies, ding-dongs, ho-hos, ding-dongs, ho-hos, Twinkies. They had that Devils, that was something like a little devil or something. I think that was another one. Anyway, out of the Hostess highly full of preservatives treats, which ones were your favorites? Random Red Rum says, it's been a minute since I was in here. Hello, Random. My neighbor just brought us mini apple cheesecake pies, a mix of both, and they're amazing. Oh, Random, sorry, you just reminded me. I love a good cheesecake. Oh, sorry. I love a good cheesecake. And I understand that they're called cakes and not pies, but, you know, I'm just going to note it. Roller says, it's good to have your fingers in many pies. Vio says, okay, speaking as a Brit, love a shepherd's pie, but despite the same, it's not a pie. Okay, Vio, Vio, I want you to know that I got a pretty big cast iron pan, and I made my own shepherd's pie from scratch. And it was delicious, and I loved it. And it's real good. And you're supposed to use Guinness, the not the Book of World Records, but you know the alcoholic beverage. But Lindy recommends red wine. Time of Gift says it was a scene in The Grifters, yes, where the hood who Angela Houston's character worked for asked her, "Tell me about the oranges." It was a way to give you a bruising without injuring yourself. Unless it was done wrong, then you injure yourself very badly. He got her to put the oranges in a sack while she explained to the audience. Yes. Yes. They started off with, oh, hey, look, I'm getting a phone call. And what's really nice about this phone call is that it gives me the phone number and then it has the little, the little subtitle that tells you who it's from. And this was from telemarketing. So I'm not going to pick it up. Just so you know. Blueberry pie is also a good one. Oh, it is, yes. I once made a homemade blueberry and it was really good. I feel like homemade pies are better than other pies. Barentor says, I watched Being John Malkovich the other day with some friends who had never seen it. Oh, that's very good. My pick is next, and Barentor just said that his movie pick is next, and he's going to have them watch Logan's Run, and that just gave me a lot of feelings because I really loved Logan's Run as a younger person, and Logan's Run was how I ran Paranoia. Like everybody, like a lot of people nowadays run Paranoia in this very, very like silly way, the RPG Paranoia. But I always run it like a mix of Doctor Strangelove and Logan's Run, which were listed as inspirations. And it was great. I really enjoy Paranoia, but I read it a bit more serious, a bit absurd. Like it wasn't goofy comedy. It was more absurdist than yeah, it was very like, yes. Anyway, that's how I like to run Paranoia, and I should run Paranoia again. I do believe I still have the first edition, which is my favorite. Also, once I get caught up in Tat, then you know what's going to happen. Welcome to the Outer Pies. Oh, we control the horizontal. We control the vertical. Rissa says, I had a roommate who would make us blackberry pie from scratch. Ooh, that sounds delicious. Ezra! I'm a cake guy. Don't really truck with pie. Hey, Ezra, I will have them all. I will have both pie and cake. Maybe not at the same time. Oh, Hawkeye says, I miss Hostess's fried pie so much. I don't think I ever had a Hostess's fried pie. Oh, okay. Ezra, chocodills, donuts. Yep. Ding dongs. Yep. Oh, okay. I now have an answer for you. I think then out of all those Hostess ones, I think my favorite would be the donuts. And not the chocolate ones, because that chocolate was a little bit plasticky. But the powdered sugar and the ones with like the little nuts on it, those were really delicious. Official Pie Guy says, are Snowballs Hostess? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I think they might be. Those and Twinkies are my favorite. Mm-hmm. I'm answering this before you finish asking. Hostess is dead to me. I do Little Debbie now. That's fair. Suzy Q's. Suzy Q's, that's what I was thinking of. How many shepherds did you use? I used all the shepherds. There was Tasty Cakes. Hawkeye, making a shepherd's pie was the only time I ever bought a beer. I bought a bottle of Guinness to make it truly authentic. I don't drink beer, but I got like a 6-pack, 4-pack of Guinness so that I can make the shepherd's pie and then also the chili that I make. Speaking of Guinness, I make great Guinness roast potatoes. Vo, what is a Guinness roast potato? Please explain. You're perfecting your roast potato skills was your lockdown project. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Chromatic says, I heard you say oranges, and I keep thinking of orange pie and Logan's Run is amazingly fun. Oh, I love that one. That and a truly ungodly amount of TTRPGs. Yes, Vo, me too. Vo, you've ever seen Logan's Run? Oh, I will tell you about it in a second. Like in 4 seconds, probably. And by the way, I've tried many a knockoff lemon pie from lots of different brands, and absolutely none of them came close to matching the Hostess lemon pie. The crusts are always too flaky, fluffy. Anyway, it's wrong. Yeah, and I think the lemon's a little bit wrong too. The new version of Paranoia is pretty good. Which version? Which version? Because, you know, they went through so many, and I have, not here in one of my boxes, one of the middle ones. One of the middle ones was like, okay, so I have a Gen X thing to say, and so Ezra can give me good advice. And what I wanted to say was, okay. Paranoia is a Gen X game. Probably also late boomer, probably, right? Although I'm kind of smack dab in the middle. I think it's a pretty Gen X game, although I think you can be late boomer and be fine with it as well. And the problem is that there are certain things that I think are part of Paranoia's like vibe. You know what? Don't let me forget Paranoia. I want to catch up on chat. The cheese quiche, best of both worlds. Donuts were my fave as well. Yeah, they were always that at least a month past their due date. It's true, they were. Logan's Run so good. Official pie guy. It is blasphemy if I, the official pie guy, also like cake. No, it's not blasphemy. It's delicious. I'll always love pie, but man, some good cakes out there. Oh my gosh. There is this delicious cake that I can get at this local Danish bakery, and it is called a Sachertorte, which is from Austria, and it's like a chocolate cake with an apricot and chocolate cream frosting in between the layers, and then the outside, then it's covered in a chocolate marzipan. And it's very, very rich, and it is delicious. Let's see. I infused the roasties with Guinness. Oh. Find if that's about. Fortunately, I'm only with the Inquisition on Friday, so they're clear. Okay, good. Paranoia was the first story game. In this essay, I will. Ezra, we'd have to check dates because I actually have one before you. I have one that is. I'm pretty sure it was published before Paranoia, but I have to check the dates. And it's one that I actually need to run. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. I need to make this note, or I will forget it. Because okay. Thank you. You just reminded me. I will tell you in a second once I get caught up. My little movie club hasn't seen any sci-fi older than Star Wars: A New Hope. Oh, Baron-Tor. So it'll be interesting to see what they think of older sci-fi with Logan's Run. You can do such a number on them. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. It was the comic book sponsorship that made the Hostess Pie so good. Yes. You watched Paranoia a few times on Stratus Academy. Always wanted to play it once. Hawkeye, we have to talk about Paranoia. So in the new Paranoia, the GM never rolls dice. He just gives the PCs rolls to make. And they stole the ghost die idea from Ghostbusters. So no matter how good you are at a skill, you can always feel, oh, that's interesting. Krellin says, everyone thinks Lex Luthor stole pies, but he actually stole cakes because not even Lex Luthor would dare steal a Hostess for pie. I've got some name games I'm going to do right about now. I know I'm totally getting caught. Like, I am just so close to being caught up. I am. Vo says, take your photos, peel, cut to roughly uniform size, potatoes, parboil till fluffy. What is parboiling? Preheat oil till it's ripping hot, and then roast potatoes in them at roughly 150 degrees Celsius until it's ready. If making the Guinness version, you use a muffin tray to roast potatoes and add Guinness with the oil. Be careful, the oil will spit when you add the Guinness. We're watching it Monday. Oh, okay. Let me know what they think. I need to know I need to know what parboiling is. I've heard the term before, but I don't know what it is. Paranoia is the game that best describes my gymming style. Well, I need to know how you run Paranoia, though. Time to roll dice. Oh, see you later, Hawkeye. Well, they had to keep the pies tasty or Superman and Spider-Man would kick his ass. This is true. Let's see. The only bit here for a little bit, I'm having a lot of fun, so I had to describe. Oh, well, okay. We were going to start playing the game, but official pie guy, you don't know what happens when you subscribe. But you're going to find out right now. I'm afraid you're going to find out right now. And we had some subscriptions that came in earlier, and Kafka-esque comedy, nice. That's nice. So we have a couple of subs that have come in thanks to our anonymous gifter, and some others that have just come in recently, and that means parboil just means to partially cook. Oh. I was like parboil, it seems so exotic and exciting. Like, do you boil it twice? Like, or do you poach it and then, I don't know, but anyway, okay. Parboiling is boiling for a short period to partially cook. Then you pull them out and shock them in an ice bath to stop the cooking. Oh. Huh. RPG. Tasty cakes. And Paranoia. and consoles. Those are the things I'm going to talk about. But first, we have subs. So, the name game. Come on, everybody. I said, now let's play a game. I bet you I can make a rhyme out of anybody's name. The first letter of the name, I treat it like it wasn't there. And then a B or an F, or an M will appear. And then I say bo at a B, then I say the name, then banana, fanner, and foe. Then I say the name again with an F, very plain. Then a fee, fi, and a mo. Then I say the name again with an M this time, and there isn't any name that I can't rhyme. Oddities, 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 but oddities, banana, fana, for oddities, fee, fi, momodities. Oddities, row, 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 bo, banana, fana, for fo, fee, fi, momo. Row, Ryan Schroeder, Schroeder. Oh, okay. Ryan, I'm going to roll my R in the beginning. I shouldn't do that. Ryan Schroeder, Ryan Schroeder, Bobine Schroeder, banana, fana, for fine Schroeder, fee, fi, mo, mine Schroeder. Ryan Schroeder, Eros Arcana, no, it's not Arios, it's Eros. Eros Arcana, Boberos Arcana, banana, fana, for Ferris Arcana, fee, fi, mo, Meris Arcana. Meris Arcana, Fullest dude, but bolus dude, banana, fana, for fullest dude, fee, fi, mo, molus dude. Fullest dude, Ronflex, but bonflex, banana, fana, for fonflex, fee, fi, mo, monflex. Ronflex, celery sticks, but bellary sticks, banana, fana, for celery sticks, fee, fi, mo, mellery sticks. Celery sticks, But if the first two letters are ever the same, I drop them both and say the name. Like Bob, drop the B's, Bo, Ob, or Fred, drop the F's, fo, red, or Mary, drop the M's, mo, error. That's the only rule that is contrary. Booty RPG, bo, Udi RPG, banana, fana, fo, footy RPG, fee, fi, mo, moody RPG. Booty RPG, Brent, bo, rent, banana, fana, fo, rent, fee, fi, mo, rent. Brent, share, bo, bear, banana, fana, fo, fair, fee, fi, mo, mare. Share, DSP, bo, BSB, banana, fana, fo, FSB, fee, fi, mo, me, SB. DSB, Wait. Official Pie Guy. Official Pie Guy, Bobo, official guy, Pie Guy, banana, fana, fo, official Pie Guy, fee, fi, mo, official Pie Guy. Official Pie Guy, the name game. Woo! Thank you for the subs. Also, Official Pie Guy. That was my first time doing Official Pie Guy in the name game. Felt pretty good about it, actually. Felt like I did pretty well. Let me see, what we got? RPG, Tasty Cakes Which Suck, Paranoia Consoles, thank you. When I asked for poached eggs, the game warden said I wasn't allowed any. Right, I see you. Peach, you are puntastic, and everybody knows it. That is just it. That's what it is. You don't always use an ice bath after parboiling, but that is a thing in some recipes if the exact level of how cooked it is important. Ooh. Call me when Tasty Cake makes a product that stays intact through eating. Oh my goodness, there's a Tasty Cake war in chat. I'm very excited about this, to be honest. You mean like the candy cakes, crimpets, cupcakes, all hold up the entire time? Oh. Vo says, hey trooper, say magnanimous indecorous undid iridium. Oh, okay. Okay. Voice, give me a challenge. Give me a second. Give me a second. Mwah. 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 Teacup coffee pot, teacup coffee pot, teacup coffee pot, teacup coffee pot. Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather. Which wristwatch is the Swiss wristwatch? Which wristwatch is the Swiss wristwatch? Which wristwatch is the Swiss wristwatch? Okay. Magnanimous and decorous undid iridium. 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 I did theater for a very, very long time. I'm pretty good at those because we had to do a lot of them for our warm-ups. Visual Podcast, that was glorious to watch and listen to. Thank you for subbing, though. Thank you. Volus says, the pellet with the poisons and the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace is the brew that is true. That's also true. And I will hydrate with actual water. Krilla notes that game is loud. The title screen is kind of loud, so I've just adjusted. Let's see. I just adjusted. I really should drop the in my name, make it easier on name games. Official Pie Guy definitely rolls better. It's my name on everything else. I don't know why I kept the on Twitch, because you wanted to be the official one. Out of all of the Pie Guys, you are out of all the official Pie Guys, you're the one, the important one. You know. So I have adjusted it. I've adjusted it. It looks like it is adjusted. Magnanimous Indecorous Undideridium was the chant my GCSE drama teacher led us in as a vocal exercise. Nice, nice. Trooper, you're like 10 years behind us. Is it 1990 where you are? No, well, no, it's not 1990. I'm gonna party like it's 1999, is what I'm gonna do. Official Pie Guy. You know what I am? The important one. I gotta start on the other fake pie. Yeah, there are all these fake Pie Guys out there. Who are they? Who do they think they are? We're gonna technically start, and then I'm gonna tell you all the things. Also, there. Okay, so we're playing the Outer Worlds, right? And we're trying to go and solve the murder of Halcyon Helen. Peril on Gorgon! Okay, so Tasty Cakes first, because that's short. I grew up on the West Coast, and we did not have Tasty Cakes on the West Coast. They are apparently an East Coast thing. And my dad is from the East Coast. He grew up in Philly. Well,
We're in the money.
Bristol, Pennsylvania, which is outside of Philly. And he always loved Tasty Cakes. He would tell me about them, and but of course never had them. And then he found some kind of random bodega that imported stuff from the East Coast, and he got some Tasty Cakes, and he brought them over because he was so excited. And he gave me like this peanut butter kind of sponge cakey one. It was fine, but I was like, oh, these are cool. But you know, these were like his childhood thing that he loved more than anything in the universe. And my response was like, oh, those are cool. I think he was a little disappointed. Hey, Max Ryder. Well, we're about to start, so we'll find out if we're winning. I don't even know. So now we got RPG, Paranoia, and consoles next. 2000 party over. Oops, it's out of time. By the way, nuclear war. Nobody, like, Gen X knows so many of these really fun big bops from the 1980s are about nuclear destruction and death, which probably brings back to the Paranoia RPG. 2000 party over. Oops, out of time. So we're all gonna be dead in a nuclear holocaust. So tonight we're gonna party like it's 1999. Okay, also, sitting in the back room waiting for the big boom. Someone's on the airwaves, the DJs. Gimme Wild West, gimme safe sex, gimme love, give me time to limit off. She's so mean, I don't care. I love her eyes and her wild hair. Dance to the beat that we love best. Heading for the 90s, living in the wild west. But also, nuclear war. Just a lot of songs in the 80s were about nuclear death and or also the AIDS crisis killing everybody, tainted love, etc. You know, actually just a bunch of them. I'm just saying, a lot of songs that seem very peppy and upbeat were kind of about death. That's all. Do it, win. Let me see. I do have to ask, what if August Body gave you the official Pie Guy title? The Pie Guy Association of the Universe, maybe? Probably my Pie Father and Pie Mother of the Pie Court. Love it. I've run 2 versions of Paranoia. Fun times. Yes. Oh, I have to wear shades. Future's so bright. Also, yo, the unofficial's out here already. World destruction, apocalypse. I mean, distant early warning. It's a mistake. Oh, yeah. It's a mistake. 99 Lipples. People, the Russians not so much, Bob, but yeah. Look, if for those of you who do not know, people who know German do know, but that song 99 Luftballons by Nena, that's about nuclear war. It's about how, like, somebody lets a little red balloon go off in the sky. I think that was the thing that peace protesters were doing. And then, like, somebody mistakes the red balloon for, like, an attack. And then all the planes come out because they all think they're Captain Kirk. Because that's one of the lyrics. Hidden sich für Captain Kirk. Es gab ein großes Feuerwerk. Then it's like big, fireworks. And basically the entire world is destroyed because they mistook a red balloon, right, for an attack. And everybody's dead now. The 80s. A lot of neon, big hair, and people were not that happy. That's all I'm going to say. Welcome to the 80s. If everyone's going to die, why not have a happy dance party about it? Exactly, Scabadak. 80s kid had to be tough when Neverending Story and Swamp Scene was based on one of the few things that cheer them. Oh, Bolus, I had a thought about that. Don't let me forget. You just added that one. Dead animals. I'm going to add that to my topic. They let 99 left balloons go off and it creates war. Yep. I grew up with all these songs. I was in high school in the 80s. First off, Max Rider. I was also in high school in the 80s, and you're not allowed to be old, because if you're old, then I'm old. And I just feel like we're seasoned. A bit earlier, but I think, London Calling to the Far Returns. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Time of Gifts. Official Pie Guy says, well, I'm glad I could be here for a little bit, but I'm off to go plan and get ready for the family board game today. Ooh, wait, before you go, Official Pie Guy, if you're still here, what are you going to play? Because now I want to know. Oh, Max remembers that terrible TV movie about nuclear war. Which one? You're probably thinking of Threads, which I think was the American one, but then there was the British one the day after. That was some nice trauma. It was good times. Good times. Max Rider says, wait, where are you? There you are. And then they did a thing about a nuke in Wilmington. I think that was supposed to look like a news report. Yeah, the day after and Threads, right? Was that it? Scared the hell out of me. It was a miniseries. Yes. So there was oh, yeah, you're right. The other way around. Threads was the UK one, and the day after was the US one. I want to know what you're playing. Tell us what's on the board. But I got some bits came in. And I want to thank the bits that have come in. Looking for a whole lot of games. King of Tokyo Nice, a card game called Wizard Kittens, which I've heard of but I've not played. Maybe A Small World. Ooh. Oh. So, Official Pie Guy, play a lot of board games here. Not here online, but I play a lot of board games. So we can always talk board games. I love them. But so here's the thing. Right now, I'm going to sing We're in the Money because I was gifted some bits. And I want to thank you. Thank you for those bits. And since we have bits, I'm going to sing We're in the Money, but I'm going to sing it as sung by Ginger Rogers from the film Gold Diggers of 1933, which means I'm going to sing it in Pig Latin. Earway and hey, the anime. Earway and hey, the anime. Earway at gale at way of way at way at way x2t at gale young way. Earway and hey, the anime. Either ice skates or any say. Old me and the aviation pray, ooh, ooh, three, you stay on way on ray, eat whatever you eat, ray at Leonsley, a up way at Brionsley, ooh, tay day. and we see the and the order will look like the I get right in the I. We're in the money. We're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. Thank you for those bits. I love a good excuse to sing in Pig Latin. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? That's what I want to say. Ezra's like, you know I love a board game. Oh, now we have to talk about board games. And DSB's here, so we definitely need to talk about board games. That's going on our queue, and it's going to go high on our queue. That's what I'm saying. Hey, Artie, how are you? Artie Snack, it's so good to see you. Yay. Oh, you know, I get this stuck in my head sometimes. I feel like that's a good thing, right? Who does not want this stuck in their head is all I'm saying. If you want some nuclear war trauma, check out the animated film When the Wind Blows. Oh, yes. Master remembers nuke drills in grade school. Nuclear war and also earthquakes. Oh my gosh. So the TV movie in 1993 was called Special Bulletin. Oh, it was about terrorists bringing a nuke into Charleston, South Carolina harbor. Oh, yeah. By the way, so right now we're here, right? And we are just leaving this maze. What I think we need to do right now is we have mostly finished all the things we can do in this like purple berry patch outfit, but we want to pick up this special gun in the RR&DD area, and also I think we're mostly done with that. Purpleberry Nut Hut, Purpleberry Puzzle Hedges, which is where we are. The Hive, and here's RR and D&D. So I think we just need to cross the island to get to RR and DD, so we can get that special weapon that we need to get, and also we are on our way, and then I think we can come back and complete everything on this little hedge. I think we're basically done with this little hedge area, but we have a center of the island to get through, and the RR and DD labs to check out, and also all the things to talk about, which I can't even wait to talk about with you all, because, oh, all right, good. Have we been in this cave? I think we have been in this cave. We have. Nothing special here. Nothing to see. All right. You have all your vodkas. I did not get my new gun yet, but we're going to go and do that right now. We're going to just get our new gun and finish up. Max Ryder going for a War of the Worlds fight. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I'm going to put this here so I can see everything. Catching up on bottom chat. Let's see. The auto CC really struggled that one. You know, who doesn't love to make auto CC struggle? I like it. You watch it with your stepmom who's convinced it was real. Look, I gotta say something in a second. It's about dead animals, and also the day after, and threads, and the threat of global thermonuclear weapons wars. Tripper didn't read the tip message, so I repeat it here. Unofficial Pie Guy says, I thought the job interview would be a piece of cake. Sadly, I was very wrong. Oh, okay. That was amazing. That was amazing, and I love that. I love that. I like to R&R with some D&D. I have to admit, D&D has entered the Catan zone for me. I've moved on to games that better do what I want out of a game. You know what's so funny about that, Ezra? Is that I actually really want to, well, really is a strong word. I want to run a D&D 1E. Probably not a full campaign, probably a short shot, probably like 6 sessions or something, 6 to 8 sessions. You know, like 4 is always so short for me. When I think of a one shot, I'm thinking like 1 to 4. When I think a short shot, like, sorry, I realize this is really weird, but for me, 4 is a long one shot. But I feel like a one shot, I like 2 sessions for a one shot. For me, like a one shot, 2 sessions, sweet for a one shot, unless it's one of those one shots that's specifically designed to be a one shot as a system. Like there's some games that are specifically designed very, very purposefully to just happen in one session. but many of those I still like to have 2 sessions for. 4 is like a little bit of a weird middle zone, but for like a short shot, I like between like 6 to 8. I have these zones. I have these zones of lengths. 1 to 2 is 1. Around 4 is a length. 6 to 8 is a length. 10 to 12/15 is a length. Yeah. I doubt Jupiter would want to do a Gygax extension. No, not like that. I wouldn't. Max Bird's like, hell yes, if I ever run AD&D, I'm going to use a second ed. Oh, I want to use first miniseries. I want to use the first ed, though, actually, because I have some thoughts that there are reasons why I would want to run AD&D first edition, and I'll tell you when I catch up on chat. By the way, we're going to open the case. And we just did. And we're going to take this Gatling gun because maybe it's cool. Although my character is not really specialized in heavy weaponry, so, you know, I don't know how good I will be at that.
Rizzo's makes heavy-duty firearms? Boss, you gotta let me try.
Oh, okay, sure. I don't mind. Wrong one, but hold on. If you want, Felix, if you want to have this heavy-duty firearm, I don't mind. Wait a minute, though, but it's a science weapon. I don't think anybody but myself is good at science weapons, right? So maybe you shouldn't. Yeah, I think maybe you shouldn't. Maybe this isn't actually good for you to be running around in. I mean, you did say you want to. What does this do? Science developed in Rizzo's Research and Development District Labs. This minigun is both inspired and powered by Rizzo's Spectrum vodka. Shoot some vodka shots and taste the pain bow. Oh my. Well, all right. I'll let you. I mean, this tactical shotgun seems really, really good, but I mean, look, I don't know if it's a good idea for you to use this, but you said you wanted to, so okay. You know what, though? It's a long gun. Maybe I should be. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. You said you wanted to try it. Y'all, do I let him carry the science gun? He said he wanted to. But the shotgun seems way better for him. Let's see. Encounter also did a Fallout style one shot. I barely remember Decumber Wally playing. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Which D&D 1E? AD&D, Advanced D&D 1E. I ran 1E about 10 years ago for friends who wanted to go through original Tomb of Horrors. I don't think I would do Tomb of Horrors. Ezra says, my streaming channel, blatant plug, Quest and Chaos, where we are famous for one-shots going several sessions. See, like, I actually, look, Ezra, I really like a one-shot that's 2 sessions. 1 to 3. Let's say, I feel like 1 to 3 is a one-shot zone for me, unless it's specifically built only for a one-shot, like Our Radios Are Dying or something like that. Because I feel like if you do a 1 to 3 one-shot, you actually get the time to get some of the RP in that I want you to get in. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like, you can let your character breathe a little bit, but still have a good one-shot. Like, I will do a one-shot that's in one session, but, like, I really like a good 1 to 3 one-shot. Dungeon Crawl Classics. Also, Ezra, you've got to plug your stuff more. With this scratch-off character sheet. Yeah, I wouldn't do a Gygax extension, but I would try something different. Encounter also, let's see, here are 3 characters, see if you can get one to the end of the game. Nice. The grinder. One-shots don't have to be one session. I agree with you. Most of mine aren't. One-shot just means a single story. It can go quite a while. Of the 4 characters, 2 survived, albeit naked, without any gear. Oh, Equinox. I'm just writing down the notes of the things that we want to talk about. We talked about tasty cakes already. What is this word? It says one of the things I want to talk about was, oh, that's consoles. Is that what that word is? Yeah, the word was consoles. Nice. 1E is better than 2E. 2E is the worst edition. Some people love 2E the most. I've never played 2E, so I cannot say. It ran 3 sessions, prefer 2E. 2E took out monks and made parts lame. I like casting times and weapon speed. Oh yeah, that came in. Skills came in 2nd edition, right? With Tui, when someone starts casting a spell, everyone tries to pile on them. I love them. I love that. You can do that in also GURPS. Krellin says, Tui took out a lot of fun tricks, like having a ranger dual class and a magic user so they can cast fireballs in plate mail. Kitchen Bratland says, good time zones for good time zones, Kitchen. And chat, have a good weekend to you all. How are you doing? So my character was heavy into science weapons. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you get what you need, which is the tactical shotgun. I agree. Ezra says, the comedy is that our producer really wants them to be just one session, but we go off on tangents. Yes. 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 The Cthulhu Confidential sessions are perfect too. Okay, look. Okay, so Rissa brought it up. It's Rissa's fault, and by Rissa's fault, I mean yay. Cthulhu Confidential are supposed to be one-shots, but they go about 2 to 3 sessions, and for me, that feels like the perfect one-shot length. Like, they're different types of one-shots. Like, I don't want to be too. No, there are different types of one-shots, right? There are one-shots that really you can actually finish in just one shot, and those are very, very tight experiences, you know. But a lot of the one-shots, a lot of the way I like to play with the characters I like to play, and also Rissa, you and I, we've got some Cthulhu Confidential to do off stream because it's the summer. 2 to 3 seems just like the perfect sweet spot for a one-shot, you know? Well, any kind of one-shot that is not super railroady, right? If you like, I find if you want to get a one-shot in one session, it has to be super railroady, and everybody has to be on board with that, or it has to be such a tight sort of story experience. Like I imagine Alice is Missing is probably like that you can do it in. Okay, if the game says you can finish this adventure in 2 hours, then maybe I can get it done in a 4-hour one-shot, is what I'm trying to say. That is the message I'm giving you all. So I actually also think we've probably now finished everything we need to do, which means I think we can go to the Purpleberry Nut Hut and turn in all of our quests. I think. I will check the journal, though. Do that, report back. We've got to find the profit of profitability. We have to go to the Botanical Operations Building. Where is Botanical Operations? It's probably not in this Purpleberry outfit. And then I investigated all 3 sites and found, okay, all right, well, good. I think we did this right. I want to see what chat has to say. Enemy Within, oh, that was a good one. What I loved about both 1E and 2E were the henchmen you could get high levels. Oh, Max Ryder, you have just brought up my difficulty. I blame you for this. I'm not blaming you. It's totally fine. You brought up my difficulty. I have a serious difficulty. And that difficulty is... All right, we need to be going north and east. We need to go this way. So you brought up my serious difficulty. I stand accused! So, I will tell you what my serious difficulty is. Oh, you know what, though? Maybe it's okay. Well, I don't know. So... Good thing Pippin wasn't part of D&D universe. Can you imagine how I made 2 decks of many things? Yes. Yes. Max Rider says, when I ran into with horrors, they mostly had large groups of men, but they didn't take any of them in. Oh, that seems not the way to go. Ezra says, honestly, I prefer long, meandering campaigns. Yeah. My 2 faves are Masks, absolutely, and Enemy Within. Ah, probably the best written campaigns out there. Oh! New topic. Well-written campaigns. We're gonna have a lot to talk about today. I'm so excited for it. You don't even know. You don't even know. Hey, and you know, how are you? We're talking everything right now. So one shot and mini squirrels. Yes. Enemy Within makes me just think of XCOM. I've never played Enemy Within, and now I feel like I'm missing something because I haven't. And I feel like I need to, so... Also, is this our way out? We will find it. It'll be fine. Hey, Anino, how are you? It's so good to hear. So good to see you. I've not seen you in a while. And so, I mean, I saw you recently, but then again, it's the time of COVID, so I never have any idea what time is anything. So who knows? Oh, I have to talk to you about KLF. Wrote it down. I have to write down my things because I will forget them because there's so many things I want to talk to you about. So, yes. The Brunchmeister is here. Hey! About what? Yes. Okay, so the Enemy Within is fantastic. Want to play WFRP? You know, here's the thing, Ezra. Baron loves Warhammer Fantasy RPG, and it was the first RPG that Baron played. Baron did not play D&D first. He played Warhammer first, which I think is super interesting and exciting, and it also makes me want to play Warhammer Fantasy because, look, my whole thing is I want to play as many of the games that are historically important or historically interesting as possible. Like, that is a goal of mine, and I want to do that, which means I do have to play Warhammer Fantasy RPG at some point in time. Like, that is clearly a thing that I need to do because, you know, I do not want to have a weapon out when I'm talking to people because that seems very, very rude. So, yes, let me
You're back, I see.
talk to this person.
That bug hasn't managed to scare you off.
I think it's more of a wonder that nothing in these law-forsaken orchards has managed to kill them.
How's the investigation going? You got a complete report for me yet?
Yep. Warhammer Fantasy is dark a little bit. Oh, sounds good. Warhammer Fantasy RPG's career system is fantastic. That also sounds really good. Rista says, currently playing in horror on the Orc Express. We played through the Red Fez prequel and should be leaving London soon for the main campaign. Oh, nice. DSP, I played Warhammer Fantasy before D&D as well, also called Cthulhu. It took a while to get to D&D. I really have some questions. They're not big questions. They're just like minor questions about what does it mean when your first game was not D&D? Which is now much more common now, but in my generation, it was not as common. Around my generation, it was not as common. Like, even though I've played games other than D&D far more than I've played D&D, I still started with D&D. So it's interesting to me what it would mean if, and of course it certainly happened back in the day too. I'm sure there are people whose first RPG was Tunnels and Trolls, right? Or Traveler. But it's interesting to me, like, what does it mean if your very first, because, although, I mean, I'm not like this because I've played other games, but I read Reddit maybe sometimes more than I should.
All right.
And
let's hear the details.
and I see people ask questions on Reddit in the RPG forums that the answer of which is yes. Almost anything that's not D&D, right? People say like, hey, I have this idea. Have there ever been any, like, I'm thinking about it. Maybe we could have like an RPG that like doesn't have classes. Like, I can't imagine any games like that, but like, what would it be like if there weren't classes? Are there any games like that? And everyone's like, yes. Yes, there are. Or things like, I don't like hit points because I don't like that you just like have like hundreds of hit points when you get to higher levels. But like, I wonder if there are any games that I was like, yes, there are games like that don't do that. Like there, because there's people who just never played games other than D&D, and D&D thinking just really bakes into their approach. This is not a dig on them, because then they get to explore new games and then explore new things, and how exciting is that for them? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's interesting. A dark enemy camp. I want to know what the Enemy Within is. I want to know all about this. I got Enemy Within used for like $10 in the 80s or 90s. I mainly wanted the riverboat and castle. This sounds very exciting. Oh, you're gonna go run errands, Ezra. We'll talk later. I want to find out this. Our current enemy within is, as anything I run, violent, dark, and absurd. Sounds good. We have a disgraced noble, a warrior priest, and a notorious curtain bandit who uses curtains as their primary attack. Oh, so they don't steal curtains. They use curtains as their... 80s Hong Kong manga with Boy George. Don't let me forget to tell you about that. Max says, I prefer games without classes, yeah. Oh, Chameleon says, we need a RuneQuest game too. Yeah, I did this solo, but I want to actually run it as a group. Absolutely. My first was D&D, which is very common, but my second was Exalted, which I imagine is a lot less common. Ooh, that's interesting as well. Max Ryder says, I want to tell you about the Enemy Within, but I only know bits and pieces. I've never read it all the way through. That's fair. Hey, squirrel on the run, squirrel on the run. I see you. Oh, I totally steal curtains and then use them for attacks. See, I feel like that would be amazing. First was D&D, then CFC. Max Race says, I think my second was Gamma World, which my brother ran, and I think my third was Fastest Star Trek. Oh, okay. Let's see. A drink was spilled over the processing console. Sorting it out.
Drink?
Yep.
I ain't never heard of no saboteur dumping drinks all over equipment to destroy it. I hate to say it, but that sounds more like worker carelessness.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to tell you this, old man? Slug isn't behind
Oh,
your
Gamma World
problems.
would be fun.
Slug wouldn't even need to cause you problems. Your own workers do enough.
Roll back. So my first was D&D red box. I really quickly went to AD&D 1E, but if you want to go for a non-D&D game, I suspect the very first non-D&D game that I played was probably Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original edition. And then I think ElfQuest. Because I'm trying to think about what that group I was in middle school was playing. We did D&D, then we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then ElfQuest. Then I feel like, I don't know where this was. I'm playing AD&D with Ezra. It might have been Ezra that prompted me to buy the AD&D books. Maybe not. But I know that in that era, like this was like the sort of like early to mid 80s era. I also ran Chill. I remember that. I ran Chill, Paranoia, Marvel superheroes, DC superheroes. This is also the era that we did Villains and Vigilantes, Champions. That's a little bit later, but we did that one. I got MERPS, but never played it. Middle-earth role-playing system. I got the Doctor Who RPG from that era. I didn't get to play that one either. You know, you got these RPGs and you don't get to play them? Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to let Tripper play the game today, but I guess it also company. Oh no, I'm told herbicide was mixed in fertilizer. Ended up killing the saplings.
Ha! Knew Slug was behind the damn sabotage.
Please. We're subtle, but that's too subtle. If we wanted to destroy your saplings, you'd have known them by the blackened remnants of their stems, not some half-assed poisoning.
Despite buying Call of Cthulhu stuff since the 80s, I didn't play till 2006. So I divide my gaming eras into first era, which was like 5th grade through the time when I lived in San Francisco. So 5th grade through the middle of sophomore year. And then my next era of gaming was that half a year in Oakland. And then my next era of gaming was when I was commuting to Castro Valley for high school. So the last 2 years of high school, which was mostly GURPS, Call of Cthulhu, RuneQuest. That was that era. And then my next era is 1990 to 1997, which is Army games, like the Army, like when I was playing in the Army, which was a lot of different games, but also a lot of Vampire, GURPS, and Star Wars D6. A lot of those, a lot of World of Darkness, Star Wars D6, and GURPS. That was that era. And then the next era, I come back to the States. I do undergrad. There's my undergrad era, which is more GURPS, more World of Darkness, and then we try out D&D 3.5. But I'm also now experimenting with some of these games that are going to lead to the story games. So this is me also doing, this is 97 to 2001. So this is me doing, I run Over the Edge for the first time, which is, I also get 2 of the big Forge games, although the Forge was brand new. So I got Cold City and Burning Wheel. Burning Wheel offended me, so I never played it or ran it, because I was like, screw this game, screw this author. Cold City I wanted to run, but never got to, and I really should run that one. That's the one that I should run. So that was that era. Then my next era is grad school era, which is 2001 to 2008, 2008. That is the era of me playing with Rissa on the Stoddard Circle. So that's a lot of GURPS, with like great groups of folks, and then a bunch of D&D. I was sort of sucked into D&D 3.5 by a group. It's like, oh, and a little bit of World of Darkness, but not much, because that was when I basically could no longer find people that were running World of Darkness without doing the meta plot. So that's when I kind of phased out of World of Darkness. But I'm doing a bunch of D&D 3.5e, and they keep promising me they're going to do RP, and they keep not doing it. And then a bunch of GURPS. And then that group, we also did some Savage World. By the way, I've played way more games than this, but I'm only talking about games that I've played significantly. Like, in that Army era, we played everything. Like, we would just rotate through lots and lots of short shots. It was always like long campaign, short shot, long campaign, short shots. Like, we did like Stormbringer, more villains and vigilantes. We tried the Temple of Elemental Evil, and we quit because we thought it was boring. Our nostalgia did not hold up. Strahd, some Ravenloft. We did, oh gosh, so many, like oh, sorry, Army Time was also Rollmaster and Palladium. And basically, I played a gazillion different types of games in my Army days. Like that, those 7 years of my Army time, we played 1,000. Like, that was like, I think the era that I played probably, other than now, the most diverse group of games. So then we have like the grad school era. Then I get my very first job in Williamsburg, and I don't RP. Then I get my job here where I'm at now in Massachusetts, and I don't get to do a lot of RP because I'm in the middle of grad school. Sorry, getting my tenure. But I play a little bit of GURPS. I run a little bit of GURPS, but that group fell apart because one of the people, there was a couple, they got divorced, and that fell apart. But then, so that's like kind of a bit of a fallow period. But then we get to the era of online gaming. And that is from, when is that? 2014? Is that right? 14, 15? 14, 15, 15, 15, 15. I never played BattleTech. I did play the Robotech game, though, but I never played BattleTech. And then, of course, the streaming era, which has been so great for me. I can't tell you how great the streaming era has been for me, because now I can play, I've played so many different games. And the streaming era, which is also coincides with me getting back into card games, the Army era also involved not only a lot of RPGs, but also
so you left a few of them intact even. Smashed more than I'd like, but
card games.
I guess I'm glad you didn't obliterate them all.
Oh, thank you.
Never did like leaving a job half finished myself, but that's me.
So what were the fine details of the sabotage anyhow? Were Slug's lackeys trying to get the mechanicals to kill all our waspitos?
No. So my card game era in the Army era, which was 1990 to 1997, that was also me as a civilian living in Germany. I played a bunch of card games. Because remember, Magic had just come out, but I was overseas, and we didn't know which game would be. We didn't realize that Magic would be Magic. There were basically like the first game that Richard Garriott made was Magic. The second game that he made was Jihad, or Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. So we all were playing Vampire. So we all played Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. We would one of the players in our group would order a box of cards, like a whole box, from a game store in the U.S. that would ship to APOs, Army Post Offices, and he would buy an entire box. We'd like separate the cards, put together our decks, and VTES, Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, was what we would play like in between sessions. Like if we all get there on a Thursday, we'd play every Thursday night. After work, every Thursday night, we'd go to somebody's apartment, usually Tony's, and we would then play. And if we didn't get full quorum for the RPG, we would then play Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. So that era was also Vampire: The Eternal Struggle. Mythos was another card game that we played a lot. So Mythos and Vampire were our card games. But then I got out of all that, and the streaming era, which I think is like 2014, when did I start streaming? Well, it's my 6-year anniversary. I finished my 6th year, which is in November. And we are now, let's see, that would have been November of, okay, hold on. I got back here from Atlanta in January of last year. So this last semester was my 6-year streamiversary in the fall. So I've been streaming for 6.5 years. So that's, what is this? We're in 2023? So 2022 minus 6 is 2016. 2016, yeah. So 2016 onward has been like great for me in terms of, although a little bit, we can go a little bit older actually. We can probably go to, if we want to be really correct, we should probably have to go back to like let's see, I was living in faculty housing for the first 3 years I was here. So that's like 2009 to 2012. And then I became a scholar in residence. So 2012, 2013 probably is the beginning of my new era, because that's when I was a scholar in residence, and we have to do office hours for an hour every week as a scholar in residence. And no one came to my office hours, which I thought was wasteful of my time. So I actually would bring in board games. And so, but I didn't have a lot of board games at the time. I had like Taboo, Risk. I didn't have much, right? And so I started doing these board games. I had like Goblet. I had like a Africa Core, which no one's going to play, Diplomacy. So I decided to do these board game nights starting around 2012. And that got me into board games for real, because I had to start getting games for like large groups of people and like cycle through things. So now I have this massive board game collection that I got so I could run these board game nights. So that's when I really got into, you know, Carcassonne and Spirit Island and you name it, right? You know, Descent, Eldritch Horror, all that stuff. And so that era is the era of me getting into board games really hardcore. Getting back into card games, specifically the Game of Thrones card game, which then sort of spread out to a bunch of the other Fantasy Flight living card games, which are not random, you set cards. And then getting back into streaming. And it was also my very first time going to an RPG convention. I went to Gen Con for the very first time because I could never go to, I was too poor to go to conventions. They were all in the Midwest, right? I went to science fiction conventions as a kid, but that's not the same. So it was my first gaming convention, which I went to for, to play card games, actually. So this era, right? My glow up era, the era of like 2012, 13 till now has been streamed games, which means I get to play amazing new games. It's the time I really got to jump into indie games, indie story games for real. The new era, really exploring RPG theory, really exploring new games, playing a lot of different games with a lot of different people from all over the world, getting back into card games and really diving into board games in a pretty big way. This has been such a great era, everybody. So good. I'm just gonna see what chat has to say. Also, you're worried that Slug is trying to mess with your livelihood.
Of course. And what better way to do that than by targeting our pollinizers? They'd be a hell of a pain to kill manually, but if you set the mechanicals to do it...
Oh, see, squirrel!
Delusional fantasy, the waspitos wouldn't be out until next pollinization cycle.
Steel curtains.
Wouldn't someone notice the rampant mechanicals beforehand?
That seems like a question you should be asking yourself.
Come on. Artie says, my like of characters having classes comes from being a video game, computer game player rather than a D&D player. Artie, that's so interesting. And here's what I will say. I started playing video games around the same time I started playing D&D, I think. My timeline's a little bit iffy. I can remember going to this store called Poor Richard's, which was an electronics store down the street, and they had a Pong console. So I was playing video games really early, but the thing is, the video games I was playing, so like my formative video games did not have classes, right? They were Pong, Asteroids, Donkey Kong, Frogger, Spy Hunter, Track and Field, which I hated Track and Field, Tron, Dig Dug, Pac-Man, Tempest, Mario Brothers, the original, Sinistar, Rolling Thunder, Kung Fu, that one Kung Fu game, if you remember, do you remember? Galaga, oh my gosh, Galaga. Do you remember that one Kung Fu game where it's on the side, right? So you're on one side, the other person's on the other. You start off, and the first person you fight, I think, is this big heavy guy that will like fly across the screen and hit you. But then but each level you defeat a person, you get another person. Like, and there was a lady with the fan, and there was the guy with the tonfa. Like each one was like a different weapon. Do you remember that one? It wasn't Street Fighter. It was Kung Fu. It was Kung Fu. It was like Kung Fu RA. It had like another. It had like something that was written in the Latin alphabet, but was clearly like a translation of something else, right? Oh, Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Yes. Blue Valkyrie needs food badly. I remember Gauntlet. I remember Karateka, Kung Fu Master. You remember the one, right? There was the lady with the fan. She'd throw the fan at you, right? There was the person with the tonfa. There was that first. Oh, the big guy had the chain. No, that was a different person. There was like chain, tonfa, fan. Right, you would have to like defeat each person in time, and your controls. It was like joysticks, right? So joystick buttons. So you can go up, down, forward, back, and then like if you like you had I think did you have 3 buttons? There was like a punch, a kick, and you could like jump. So you could like punch, jump. I think it might have had an eagle. I think it was Kung Fu Master, right? I think it was, yeah. When I was younger, I was a major RPG snob. Oh, say more, Artie Snack. Say more what kind of snob you were and how did your snobbishness manifested when you were younger. This is Atari, yeah, and also console, arcade. It was like, you did a lot of arcade games. And I really loved arcade games that had non-traditional controls. Like, I love Spy Hunter, I love Tron, Centipede, because it had the rollerball, Tempest, because it had that little wheel, Paperboy, which had the bicycle handlebars, right? Paperboy was fun. That was fun. By the way, Maggie and Rufus are both listening to you wax rhapsodic about video games. Speaking of which, is there a way to manually initiate a pollination cycle?
Well, yes. It's possible to manually start and end cycles in Hive Control, but we keep a careful watch on it. And there have been no non-Rizzo's personnel in or out.
Yeah.
Stop wasting everyone's time, Hathaway. What you're proposing is infinitely less likely than an idiot maneuver by one of your incompetent workers. I don't want to hear any further slander.
You two need to, like, calm down.
Let's go through this one final time so even you can't confuse it, Hathaway. Slug didn't do a damn thing to your orchards. You're chasing ghosts.
Talk about ghosts all you like, but someone was screwing with my orchards. If it wasn't Slug, then who the hell was it?
Yeah, I don't know what's that. Paperboy's fun. I was also bad at Paperboy, but I was much better at Spy Hunter, but I wanted to be really good at Paperboy. You know what I mean? Let me see. ElfQuest was a Chaosium game, and you own it, Max Ryder. I think I might, yes. Vulpes is, I'm different in the sense that NES was my first real system, then SNES, but after that I went to PS. You never played Chill. I enjoyed Chill. I remember my second RPG was Sci-Fi Star Wars D6. That was Jer, but it's so hard to remember. Yeah, or Marvel. PH is AD&D Earthdawn Vampire the Masquerade Hunter the Reckoning. Palladium Games, Homebrew, Traveler. Played a lot of stuff in the 80s. Yeah. Oh, I mean, of course, if you think about it, I also played, what was that? I mean, I also did, like, Castle Falkenstein, right? Cyberpunk 2020. I never did Shadowrun. That was later in my life, but back in the day I didn't do it. What's that one? Purple Box. It was Star Frontiers. Because you know how TSR did that glut of games out there in the mid 80s that kind of like helped tank them in certain ways. So I played a couple of those, and they all came out in box sets. So I did Star Frontiers. That was one that I did. Absolutely. I did the FASA Doctor Who as well. Schmelzer says, hey, Schmelzer. For all the D&D shows I watch, I have never actually played it. Oh, Schmelzer, you should play it, at least on tabletop. The only TTRPG you ever played was DSA. So, part of me going to cons was about playing new games I never played before, right? So whenever I would go to Gen Con, I haven't been since the pandemic, and I don't know if I'll be going back until they get their stuff together. Although I've been, like, producing remotely for Gen Con, so like once the pandemic happened, I ended up becoming a remote producer rather than going. But like that was where I played. I brought this up because you mentioned DSA. They came out with an English translation of Die Schwarze Auge, and so I played DSA because that was one of the games I always wanted to play. So I played that at Gen Con. I played Fate for the first time at Gen Con. I played Bluebeard's Bride at Gen Con. Like basically, I've just like Gen Con was the time for me to look to see like what games have I never played that I feel like I should play. Let me go and get a one shot in. So anything like so that was like a Gen Con was really good for that for me because my goal at Gen Con was to try new games that I have never played. They may have only GM'd them or never played them at all, or things that I kickstarted that I haven't played yet. So that was like that was really great about Gen Con. Let's see. I've only played 3 systems in total: D&D, Exalted, and Edge of the Empire. I need to run that one. Do you name them Jurassic, Triassic? I really should. Started with Redbox, this is Volpez. Then my group bounced around a lot. James Bond, yep. Atlas Lancia, Homebrew Mech Warrior campaign before the real game came out. Champions Fantasy Hero. Have I played BESM? Big Eye, Small Mouth? I missed it. What was Screw This Game? Screw This Author. Oh, I have to remember now. I did it on the Edge. On the Edge, TCG. I always wanted the RPG. Yes, I've never played the TCG, but now I miss it. Eden Clyde. I'm going to say no idea, sorry.
You're a professional inspector, and all you've got
Oh, yeah, Burning Wheel.
No idea?
Sorry, Max Rider, yeah.
Laws. Well,
yeah.
what's done is done, I guess. Right now, we have the orchard.
It's a Burning Wheel is.
I reckon that you're
I have very little desire to play games by that fellow.
Ah, what the hell. The Orchardist seems to get off on complicating what should be a simple deal, but at this point, I just want to be paid and go. The pollen in the air is
Give me a second.
agitating.
Yeah, so that's by Luke Crane, who also did Mouse Guard. Luke Crane has done... What all have you done, my friend? You have done Burning Wheel. Oh, is he teaching at Oh, Luke Crane is teaching at NYU. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe it'll be in Board Game Geek where we can see all the stuff. I know he did Mouse Guard and he did Burning Wheel and Tokyo Coin Laundry. That's all it has listed for him. I feel like he's got to have other stuff going on. Maybe not, but I am not wanting to play games by him. And I won't. And yeah. Let's see. 86 to 90 was gaming with a group that played a lot of different things. We were gaming in a shed behind the game store, so we had access we might not have had otherwise. Nice. My public library would get RPGs was great. Oh, I love public libraries. Some games we didn't pass character creation. Space Opera was one of those. Crown says, I sometimes wonder if the military isn't the TTRPG's biggest market. I feel like the military and college, right? I feel like are like massive markets for TTRPGs. Also clear, I'm getting caught up. Just so you know. Let me see. Robotech, yep. Mythos and Ulamati here. Nice. Hey, Escape, how are you? Come on, no one plays TTRPGs on Thursday nights. Volpa says, I did a lot of those. My high school group would do RPGs campaigns around the board games we were playing. Oh, nice. Our Mech Warrior game also Renegade Legion stuff from before Fasta was doing RPGs, really. Yeah. 2014 was Hyper. Yes, 2014. Yep. May I ask, what is faculty housing? Yes, Hescape, you may. And I'm going to answer that question.
Never liked paying bits if I ain't gotta, but you're right. If we get production finished now, we'll be able to pay later. Thoughts, Slug Boy?
I think
Nice.
that's the first interesting suggestion I've heard since our back and forth began. Slug can wait for an increase in cost.
No, I'm going to get caught up.
We won't have this conversation again.
You want to ask what Luke Crane did? I will tell you when I get caught up in chat. I will definitely tell you.
Our situation is finally resolved. At
And you
the
have to
end
know
of the
something
day,
about
it's almost amazing how easily
where I'm
we
at.
were able to solve both of our issues.
Nice.
Shame you aren't living in Byzantium. Could have been an intercorporate diplomat. But at the moment, I'm more than pleased to take advantage of your considerable skill. Thanks for ending this nightmare, Inspector.
You're welcome. I live in the dorms, but faculty housing is not the same thing as living in a dorm. That's actually separate, and I will tell you in a moment. One way or another, we need to get you down to Philly for PAX Unplugged. Volpez, I boycott PAXes. I don't go to the PAXes. I do not participate in penny arcade related things. There may be a time where it's my job and I have to, but it is not currently my job, and so there are very few things that I personally am like, nope, I will not mess with that. Penny arcade related things, Luke Crane and The Window are three things that I'm like, nope, not getting involved in those things. They have done things that I do not like, and I am not going to give them my money or my publicity. Yeah. I worked up a role-playing game resume a few years ago. I need to update it. Oh, I should probably do that same thing as well. I like my characters having classes because I believe in education for all. PH, I love you. Let's see. Came into TRPGs very late. Sierra was my real introduction. That's a good one. That's a good introduction. Kung Fu, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, Blue Valkyrie, Kung Fu Master. See, I'm sort of caught up. Atari, Maggie Rivers, Paperboy. Ha ha ha. See? I'm currently running a Dark Crystal and Labyrinth TTRPGs with friends. So much chaos. Random Red Rum. Are you doing a homebrew? A generic, or are there Dark Crystal and Labyrinth TTRPG systems? Please let me know these things. I'm very excited. Oh, and television, yeah. I was playing a ColecoVision at the time. There was a cool tank game with 2 controls. Yes. I remember that tank game. I remember it. I was not good at it, but I remember it because you had to do like I remember it was like these two sort of they were like really massive joysticks, and they would control the tread. So if you wanted to pivot, you have to like do that, go forward, back, pivot, and then you had triggers, right? Yes, I remember that one. But speaking of games like you never get the timing right, that what really frustrated me, Dragon's Lair. Remember the video game that had it was a cartoon? They had the animation, it was like animated by Don Bluth, and it was the precursor to QuickTime events, and you had to click your button to hit with the sword at the right time, and I never got past that first fight. I always was immediately killed because I couldn't figure out within the context of the cartoon when I'm supposed to be pressing that button. So bad at it, I always died. It just ate my quarter. And the thing is, oh wait, sorry, Dragon's Lair was 2 quarters. All the other video games were 1 quarter, but that one you had to pay 2 quarters for. And I was like, I paid 2 quarters, and I got like 2 minutes of game time because I cannot play this game. And I am not excited, and so I stopped playing it.
That, I reckon.
You know?
Much as I would have liked you to send slug packing, I can't deny that your solution was damn slick. Wish you'd been there at the annulment of my last marriage contract. Maybe then my ex-husband wouldn't have my house, our teacup caneted, and 20,000 of my bits.
Ouch.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Past trauma. Thanks for working things out.
That's okay. I hated the design choices for Chill. Too much purple, making some of the pages hard to read. Fair. Artie says, Max is like, Star Frontiers. Yeah, Star Frontiers, right? Artie says, sorry, video game RPG snob. I looked down on any first-person shooters. Oh, that's what you meant. And thought they were trash. I was awful back then. It's why I never played Mass Effect till I got Mass Effect 2. Free with Dragon Age 2, as I had written off as just a shooter. Yeah. Artie Stack, that's really interesting, because when you said you were an RPG video game snob, I didn't know if you meant that you were some about what kind of RPGs you played, or if you were RPGs over other systems, right? So I didn't know, but I also want to say, also I'm not judging you because, you know, you're here now. I remember when Mass Effect 1 came out and a bunch of people were livid. They're like, this is not an RPG. RPGs do not, basically, they had played Knights of the Old Republic, as had I. And their position was that, let's see, report to Administrator Ludovico. Yeah. Find the Productivity Queen. And the Botanical Operations. I feel like the Botanical Operations building must be out here, right? Purpleberry Hedge Nut, Purpleberry, RRDD, and this is the hive. Yeah, so we must be like basically, we have some other. I don't think we've ever been up here, by the way. So I think we just have to finish. Yeah, there's a bunch of this area, these floating islands that we haven't checked out yet. I wouldn't worry about what that means for our timing. I remember a lot of people I remember, right? Because with Knights of the Old Republic, they were actually using the D20 system where whether or not you hit someone or not really came down to a die roll, and they would roll the D20. And if the D20 hit, then you hit. And then when Mass Effect came out and it started relying on player skill to shoot things, people lost their mind. They're like, this is not an RPG. How dare you? And I remember that. And I remember thinking, huh, like, you know what I mean? Like, I played it. I enjoyed it. I think it was one of my first third-person games, actually. I don't think I'd played hardly any third-person games at that time. I don't think I had. I think it was like one of my first third-person games, which, you know, it was novel to me. I'm going to break down. I don't think I actually need to break down. Well, I'm going to break down this because I was saying that I don't think I need to break down anything because what I need is money, but it's fine. Like, what I need to do is just sell stuff for money so I can modify things, because that's really what I need to do. But actually, while we're here, I might as well modify and tinker with the stuff that I have, right? Because might as well. I mean, I feel like we should do that. Because it'll make my stuff better. And if I can make my stuff better, then I should spend all of my money to do that, obviously. I'm going to just be spending a lot of money, aren't I? I also have a really good gun that's not this gun that I currently have, and I'm trying to figure out where did I put it, because I want to... I think it was this one, the tactical shotgun, which I'm also going to upgrade. Oh, well, okay, great. And I'm running out of money already. It's fine. Now I'm just going to hit my armor and see if there's any of this that I can... Oh, yeah, I can upgrade. Now I have not enough bits for more upgrades. I spent all of that money on upgrades, but I feel better, and I'm going to be less likely to die, I hope. And also, whatever is left, I'm going to just spend the money, you know? I'm just going to spend the money. It'll be fine. Also, I need to catch up on chat. But while I'm catching, I just thought I should also walk down here and get caught up. Also, I have a list of topics. I mean, we'll get there. Probably. Or not, because you know how we are. Anyway, I actually didn't mind Mass Effect. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. But again, I've always been a little bit... I've been mostly sort of indifferent to genre wars. Interested in them, right? But not as invested in that. Also, because I gotta say, Mass Effect felt really different than a first-person shooter to me. It's not like I played a lot of first-person shooters. I tried Halo, Gears of War, which is the third person, right? But it felt really different to me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Anyhow, we have buildings to look at. And I also have chat to look at, which I'm very excited to do once I move my body a little bit further down the road. So there's a person we've got a quest to turn. We might as well just maybe turn the quest in. This is I suppose we should go and turn this in while we're here. I mean, we are here. We should just turn it in and then you know, we'll go to the next floating island. And I'm catching up on chat. Since you did Rollmaster, did you do the cyberspace game? I didn't do that one, actually. I should probably. Artie's like, that's probably the best course of action in regards to Gen Con. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Max says, I stopped playing RPGs at cons and went for tabletop battle simulators as I had so many bad experiences with RPGs at cons. Oh, I tended to, you know, I've had a pretty decent experiences at cons, but then again, I've never played D&D at a con, so. For a second there, I thought you said, did I play BDSM? That's different. The Burning Wheel guy is a big DM hater. Yeah, he's a big, he really, yeah, he built a Burning Wheel to be very hostile to Dungeon Masters, and I'm like, I don't really want to give you money, because I don't want to GM a game where the designer keeps talking smack about GMs. I'd like to visit the VIP guest floor?
Oh, so sorry, but you're not actually authorized to visit that floor. What authorized floor can I bring you to?
Never mind. Well, I've got to talk to Administrator Ludovico, who is where? Where are you, Administrator Ludovico? I would like to, there we go. If we go up here, this is some fancy floor. I don't think I can get to Administrator Ludovico. So I feel like, what am I even doing here? Well, I find this very mysterious. Also,
What floor would you like next?
Penthouse Suite.
The finest seat in the
Fine.
house.
Fine. We'll see. Oh, I will tell you more about that. Mac's like, no, I've mouse guard. Look, I have more things to say about this, which is basically, I have certain people that I'm not going to support, but it's fine if other people support them. Like, there's some things I'm like, ooh, that's a bit iffy for me. But like, I'm not a person that's like, just because I'm not going to do a thing means that you shouldn't do it. I feel like everybody's got to make their own choices, and I'm not the boss of anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are going to do what they're going to do. And I'm not. I don't, yeah.
I understand there was an incident at the orchards. The
Yes.
pollination cycle began without my authorization. Fortunately, you managed to save most of the hive. The waspitos are essential to the orchards, you see. Losing them would have cost us months of production.
Oh no! Max Rider has to walk the dogs. Either Max Rider is gone and missed the Luke Crane stuff, or Max Rider will be back, and then we'll find out. Max Rider will be back if he's already gone. But I'm getting caught up. Pox on both Paxes. Yeah, I don't do the Paxes, actually. But Jer's making a Genesis version of Dune because of the bad taste of some of the official Dune devs left in your mouth. Oh, that's interesting. You should share what those things were. Also, I'm excited by you're using Genesis for Dune. That's exciting. And more than a few lives. Doesn't that bother you?
The orchards can be a dangerous place, but my workers understand the hazards. Something about this incident troubles me. The circumstances are suspicious. But let's concentrate on the matter at hand. Have you discovered anything?
Jer's like, Trooper's not a fan of the Dick Wolves. I am not a fan of the Dick Wolves, which is a Penny Arcade thing. Also how they dealt with that, and the continuous messing up kind of in a really messed up way, and being like, oh, whatever, sorry. And then doing it again, like, I'm not into it. And then also there was like some transphobic stuff that happened at PAX Australia. You know what? I just am not going to give them money. What about a pizza? What did it take to go grab a pizza and hang out? Not much. I'll grab a pizza. I don't think I'd ever fully trust anyone that yeah. Battlezone was the tank game, thank you. The adventure game with the dark goat was the worst. Yes, that was terrible. Red Rum says, TTRPG system for Labyrinth and Dark Crystal, but I'm adding some homebrew stuff. Like one of my players is playing two characters, Skeksis and Mystic. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, Red Rum. Max Rider will come back and we'll talk about it. Artie says, I think that I own more TTRPG systems via Kickstarter than systems I've actually played. Some more ones I backed to support people like the Strix, others. I just find the world interesting, like The Expanse. Yes, I have. Yes, yes. I also really like to kickstart things where I think that people could use the support. You know, so sometimes I'll kickstart things for to be because I want to support the project. RPG players thought ME1 was too much of a shooter, and FPS players thought it was too much of an RPG. Yeah, that's right, Jared. That's true. Carlin says Mass Effect was not a shooter. Your character's skill mattered. Yep. Everyone who's saying that shooting sucked probably didn't level up their weapon skill. Actually, that's also true because it was like that was the era, right, when technology got good enough that people could start adding RPG mechanics into their shooters and shooter mechanics into their RPGs, and like in new ways. And your character skill did matter. How it did. It just was subtle, right? It was less obvious than a D20 rolling up. Vulpus says there was a point where RPG video games changed from having somewhat open systems, becoming another shooter killer with skill trees. Although the thing is, I think we have to remember that there were RPGs back in the day that were pretty limited. What I will say is, being old enough has given me a certain perspective, right? Like, I see people arguing about the shift from the PS1 to the PS2 era, or the PS2 to PS3 era, about like, oh, but RPGs were like this and now they're like this. But I was like, yeah, when I first started playing RPGs, they were Zork. So like, I've had such a long span of playing different types of video games that a lot of these genre wars don't make sense to me. Like, for example, when you say like, you know, actually a lot of women play video games, like more women over the age of like 30 to 40, whatever it is, 25 to 40 play video games than boys from like 13 to 18. And people's response is, oh yeah, but what do they play? They don't play real video games. They play casual video games, you know, like Tetris or like Angry Birds. And for me, that's just such a trip, because Tetris was a video game. Like, when Tetris came out, we never used the phrase casual game. And everything that people are calling casual games are what would have just been video games in the 1980s. Do you know what I mean? And so like, I just have no desire to dismiss casual games, because first off, if you've ever played them, I have with my ADHD, it's way better for me to play a game like this than a so-called casual game. Because those casual games, I just never, like, they're not very casual. You know what I mean? So like, for me, because I've got this larger scope, it's hard for me to get really mad about the transition from like Generation 2 to Generation 3 and be so upset about it, because I was playing Generation 1, and Generation 1 was really different from Generation 2. So the sort of ever change is sort of just my norm, if that makes any sense. Vulpus says, I want to go back to the original Deus Ex, and I want a game you can do without killing anyone. I think that Batman game, that I think you can play the first Arkham Knights without killing anyone. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Artie says, I never played KOTOR. I don't know why. I never tried when I was younger. I was never a huge Star Wars person. I tend towards fantasy or sci-fi. It's a good one. Have you put points into that skill that decreased the cost of upgrading? I don't remember which was. I don't know if I did. I probably should have. And I have things I can sell, and I'm going to sell them. Carlin says, you're halfway through your stream, Trooper. If you're not already there, you're probably not getting there. I'm going to get there. Topics. Logan's Run. I'm going to stream until 3:30, by the way. That's where I'm at. Also, it looks like I'm caught up to chat, by the way, right? I need to try the Legendary Edition Mass Effect 1, as I did much later tried ME1, but after, Artie Snack, but after playing ME2 and ME3, ME1 seemed very, okay, so Artie Snack, here's what I have to tell you. I have this thing that some people are like, why do you do that, right? And that is, if I want to play, so I currently have some games in a trilogy. Like, I have more than, the last Assassin's Creed that I played was 3, I think. The third one. And I will not play the later ones until I play 4. Because I have to decide that I'm never going to play that game before I'll give up on it, because I know, just like you, Artie Snack, that if I play it in order, I will not be bothered by, like, the clunky GUI or those things, because it's the first time I've played it. And then when I play the next one, there'll be these improvements. I'll be so excited. But if I play the next one first, going back to I will not be able to enjoy the first one as much in contrast. Do you know what I mean? So I try to go in order so I can experience it without getting frustrated. Which means there's some games like, well, have you played Red Dead Redemption? I haven't, but I actually have finished Red Dead Revolver, so I can play Red Dead Redemption. But you see what I'm saying? That's a bad example. Yes. Let's see. RPG Paranoia Consoles, living in the 90s, some other stuff I didn't write down. I got it. We are all super tasters. Yes. ME1 is fundamentally different genre from 2 and 3, Artie. ME2 and 3 are shooters. I still, see now, so Artie, this is what you need to know. Krellin hates 2 and 3. I love all 3 of them. So take that as it will. And I still found 2 and 3 to be RPG enough for me. Jer says, mostly the Kobold had a hand in the Dune RPG. Oh, I didn't know that. And even though they removed his stuff, the imprint is still there. Oh, I didn't know that. That is good to know. Pretty much the transition from JRPGs to ARPGs and all the stuff that came with that. Yeah. Don't give up. Batman never kills anyone. That's not really a choice. Batman killed people in the 30s and 40s. Early Batman killed people. The Batman that didn't kill people was the Batman of the Comics Code. That's because nobody in the Comics Code could kill anybody. So pre-Comics Code Batman certainly killed people. He also used guns and shot people because he was sort of a clone of the Shadow. So when everyone's like, Batman would never kill anyone, it's like, Batman killed people. There was a whole time period before the Comics Code when Batman certainly killed people. I'm not into, like, later 90s, like, I'm just saying. Also calling something a casual game is just advertising your gatekeeping tendency. Yes. Yeah. Which is why you started Kingmaker. I know, that's why I started Kingmaker. I've got to finish it. Heskip says, I've caught up with chat. Where's the champagne? One day Warren Spector will get to make a game again. I just want the original Thief. Oh, Thief was so fun. I played Thief 3. Had one of the best horror levels in there. The Shale Bridge Cradle level was one of the best horror experiences ever. But 2 as Biotic got, yeah. I really enjoyed ME2 and 3 myself, and I agree that there are a lot of RPG elements. I also really enjoyed Andromeda. I haven't played Andromeda yet, but I should. ME tricked me into pre-ordering it and then killing the main character in the first 5 minutes, and BioWare is dead. Oh, I love that the character died in the first 5 minutes. I loved that. And I really love that if you did not know your NPCs very well, and you chose the wrong people to send on that final mission, some of them could die and then not be back in ME3. I love that. I love that there was some, like, I love that. He's Batman. He could pretty much do whatever he wanted. I don't think you kill anyone in Gotham Knights. You just knock out a lot of people. Yeah. So I am caught up, and I'm going to just, wait. The plot thickens, Administrator.
You have my attention.
Dr. Blossom is dead, murdered by an unknown killer.
That's deeply upsetting.
I know.
Dr. Leora Blossom was an extraordinary scientist and a friend.
Did you kill her?
Have a murderer on the loose, Inspector. As if the
I
death
know.
of Halcyon Helen wasn't enough of a blow to our facility.
I know. She was in trouble when I found her. The other workers had turned violent. Oh, no. All I know is she recognized the killer.
Interesting. The Rizzo's family is a small family, Inspector. Most of us recognize one another. Still, any information is good information. It troubles me to believe Leora could have been murdered by one of our own.
Also, I
If there's
think...
anything else you'd like to share, you have my attention.
I think that Ludovico did it, by the way. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it's somebody else. But I'm just saying the person who you think didn't do it in these things usually did do it. Yeah, someone stole data from one of your terminals in research and development.
That's troubling, to say the least. Any transfer of proprietary data is strictly prohibited without my permission.
I've got some perception and some hack. You can't steal that much data without an expensive cartridge. Our thief had resources.
A clever deduction, Inspector. That gives
I know.
us a little information to work with.
Yes. Yeah, this happened just before the Wapspeedo attack. Someone was trying to stop me.
Yes, I share your suspicions. Someone didn't want you following their trail.
That's right.
This feels like more than corporate espionage.
Yes.
Someone's playing with us, Inspector.
I agree.
And I have never in my life enjoyed games.
Me neither.
Did you discover anything else?
Helen insisted on touring the Rizzo's RR&D lab.
Insisted. That's interesting.
Isn't
We
it?
scheduled a tour of the lab for Helen. Purely a public relations event to be held sometime in the indeterminate future. Then again, Helen and I were not well acquainted. I can't speak to her intentions.
What were you going to show her during the tour?
Little of consequence. We'd tour the grounds, pause at some locations appropriate for a portrait, let her shake hands with our scientists. Public relations.
She spent a little time at the orchards. I found evidence. She was at a picnic.
A picnic? I don't recall approving a private social gathering at the orchards. I'll have to make a note of this information. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Was there anything else?
I'll let you know if I learn anything else.
This incident at the orchards must be connected to Helen's murder somehow.
I
don't
agree.
know how, but I feel it in my marrow.
There are
My
thousands.
apologies, Inspector. This case is under your jurisdiction, not mine. I leave it in your hands. When you're ready, I suggest a word with the hotel coroner. She should have finished her autopsy by now.
I'll be back. I don't want that gun out.
Inspector?
No, I also don't want to talk to you. I just want to get rid of my gun because it's rude to have a gun just out. Also, there are 1,000 stories in the city, and this one is mine. I feel like I worry that might be being played for a patsy by Ludovico. Hello? Can I help you? Can I help you? Who are you and why are you here? Also, I'm running out of the talcum powder that makes this fake cigarette smoky. A little bit, but I'm running out of the talcum. So sad. These were very cheap though. I can probably get more. Also, I am going to eat food because that's a thing that one does when one is apparently addicted to food. And then I'm going to talk to this person, but really, I'm going to get caught up on chat. Let's see. If Shepard died and then you played someone else, that would have been cool. Killing Shepard and then resurrecting them was dumb. Oh, interesting. That's an interesting position, Krellin. I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. I was fine playing a resurrected Shepard because, you know, it led to some interesting conundrums, like, you know, Ship of Theseus sort of stuff. But I respect your position. I see it, and I respect it. There were some positions that I was not particularly happy with by people on the internet, and I was like, meh. Like, some people were like, oh, I was just mad that I couldn't romance Tali, and I was like, okay. You don't always get what you want, you know what I mean? But that one I can. I'm like, okay. The music is perfect. Yes. I think that would be interesting, but I also think that sadly they'd have time, had time marketing and selling it. Yeah. I played Undertale, left not a single monster alive. I need to play Undertale? You cannot play Undertale without Kinsman. Oh, that's interesting. Have I eaten? Yes. I had a banana for breakfast, and then once we get done with stream, I'm going to have chili, because I made chili. A little bit too spicy, just like a tad, but I think it's fine. So, resume. Talk to this guy. Who are you?
Oh, sweet gibbering law. Where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Sorry, let me just get back in character. Whoa, 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 it's not what it looks like.
Yeah, what are you doing here in my room? Wait. Give me one reason why I shouldn't kill you.
Easy, friend. No need to get violent. There are as many reasons to spare my life as there are flavors in Rizzo's Spectrum Vodka. I'll give you 2 reasons. First, I am a valuable asset to the Rizzo's Rangers Tossball Enterprise. And secondly, I'm just here doing a job for a VIP. Mascot's honor.
Mm-hmm. What kind of a job?
I am acting on behalf of Mr. Black Hole Birdie, the Holmeister, the Hack Attack. I don't have a lot of time, but Mr. Birdie sent me to retrieve a message. Something he recorded for Ms. Bellamy while he was off his kilter.
Yeah, you're out of luck. Oh, sorry. You're out of luck. I found it already. It's pretty incriminating.
You found the recording? Oh,
Yeah.
That's just sweeter than a fistful of purple berry punch.
Yeah.
Oh, law, Birdie's gonna slaughter me like a woolly cow.
Too bad.
Will you meet me later, over at the pilot house? I swear, from the bottom of my employment contract, I will tell you everything I know about Ms. Bellamy's demise.
I'm really glad that I have an intimidate option, because if there's one thing I've learned in like noir, crime stories, those sorts of things, whenever somebody says, will you meet me in the mysterious place at midnight in the alley that I'll give you the identity of the killer, they always get murdered. Every time you show up in the alley, they're always dead when you get there. Every single time. I'm like, just tell me now. Just tell me now. Tell me now. So I'm going to do the intimidate. Tell me what you know, or they'll have to rinse your remains out of that mascot outfit.
What? But I can't?
Tell me now.
Please don't hurt me. I'm sorry. I can't. Not here. I'm sorry. The Pilot House complex. Meet me there, and I'll tell you everything, I swear.
This person's gonna be dead. Dead. You're dead. You know, if you just told me now, you may not have died, because you're gonna die now. I'm not gonna be the one to kill you. You're gonna be murdered because you've decided not to tell me the things that you should just tell me now. I'm just pointing out that that person ends up dead. That is because they wouldn't tell me the things they need to tell me. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Also, where is this? I don't see it. We're going to see if we have a selling area, which I think we might. We need to find this profit. We have a workbench, which is not going to let us sell things. We just need to find a selling spot. Let's take that Spectrum Brown, which is probably poisoned. We're gonna head out, everybody. And I'm gonna say something about paranoia. Because it's on my list, and I think it's short. Oop. Oop.
What floor would you like to visit?
Lobby.
To the lobby we go.
I feel like that VIP floor is like... By the way, we're gonna take our favorite people with us because we have not taken them with us in a while. We're gonna take Nyoka, who Krellin said would be my best friend, and he is correct, and also Ellie. We're going to take them with us. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Gotta go around. Okay, I'll see you later, DSB. I'm going to have fun drinking that Spectrum Brown. Mascot gonna sleep with the mosquitoes. Right? That's what I'm saying. This is the writer's GM saying, no, we need you to go to the pilot house to advance the plot, or to find a dead person. They always do that. So, paranoia. What I want to say about paranoia was that I loved paranoia so much. Like, I loved it. I know what I was going to say. It's a Gen X game. Or also, super young boomer, I suppose. The thing about that game is that it was absurd in some ways, right? But people, later editions of the game by different people tended towards the goofy. Like, ha, 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 nobody's taking it seriously.
Never mentioned anything about mosquito attacks.
We're just running around, like, being super, like, goofy, weird. Like, ha, ha, this is so funny, ha, 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 ha. But the thing is, the thing about that is, also, what's in my journal? Speak with Dr. Goodnight. The Prince of Tossball. Go to the meeting spot. Find the Productivity Queen. Sprained. Okay. Let's go there. I think we might be able to talk to this person. Anyway, my point is that there's like once we moved on from the Gen X Millennial, a lot of people just started playing Paranoia as if it were just like a cartoon funny ha ha ha. And certainly you could play it that way, but the very first edition was not exclusively or even like, it was completely legit to play it in a really serious way. These are replacement models. Okay. So if I get in trouble, I can. I don't think I've been in this room, everybody. So let's just steal bit cartridges. Also, I should really save, right? I should really save. Now, there was a later edition of Paranoia, one of the ones that I got that sort of, not the newest one, but maybe the one before the newest one, that said, hey, there's more than one way to play. You can play Zap, which is like, blah, or you can play a bit more serious. And I always ran it more serious because the threat of global thermonuclear war was a bit more serious, right? To me, the references that were happening in Paranoia were references that were, oh, hello, Halcyon Helen. You're dead. You're a dead body. Oof. Yeah, okay.
Inspector, not a moment too soon. I've just finished my autopsy report.
Right. So anyway, look, here's my point. I think the thing is that if you grew up watching Threads and The Day After and thinking about global thermonuclear war, right? If those things were part of your background and you watch Logan's Run, right? Paranoia has a bit more of a grit to it, right? It's a bit more serious. It's got some stuff going on. And I found that post-Cold War editions of Paranoia by people who are not the original designers, Greg Kostikin, I think the original designer, leaned really hard into this is so silly, ha 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 ha. And I don't like that because having to live in an underground bunker in the threat of thermonuclear war wasn't silly. It might have been absurd and a black comedy, but there was like a real goofiness to later editions of the game that for me really feels like these are people who didn't actually understand the source material in certain ways, right? And so I was never really into, and look, Paranoia could get weird. Like, I'm not saying it was like, burr, 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 but there was a weight, right, to the threat of nuclear war and destruction and fallout shelters and radiation poisoning and nuclear winter and all those things that were there for me. And I ran a pretty long campaign of Paranoia. It ran for like an entire school year when I was in high school. And the way in which I've seen people run it who are not connected to that context has sort of rubbed me the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? Like it feels like, and I'm not saying don't be funny because the game has dark humor, absolutely. But there is just something about the way I've seen it, the editions themselves, not all of them, because there's an edition that a post Cold War edition that I think it was, I can't remember if it was Paranoia XP, was one of the ones that I think actually revisited, legitimized playing in a slightly more serious way or satirical way, a bit of a darker way as legitimate and like supported that. But some of those post-Cold War editions were just, and the way people played it, and it just didn't sit right with me. Do you know what I mean? I was like, if this is what you think Paranoia is, if this is the only thing, and certainly you can play that way. If you want to play Super Gonzo, where nobody takes anything seriously, and you just start shooting each other from the very first time the game starts, and you're like, and the game begins. I shoot that person, I shoot the clone, and you just it's just like shooting each other from the very 15 minutes. If you want to play that way, you can absolutely play that way. 100%. If you want to play it like some sort of Gonzo, but then people say like, well, you can't play Paranoia longer than one episode because everybody dies. And I was like, that depends on how you run that game. You just do not have to run that game that way. And so I think for me, it's about an erasure of multiple styles of playing that game and a style of gaming that really feels disconnected from the trauma, right, of the Cold War. And so it was like never really my thing. So I love Paranoia. I love it so much. But the Paranoia that I love is a style of Paranoia that has been sort of erased, right? In a kind of a, it's like, okay, I am not inherently against remakes. There are many remakes that I think are great. Do you know what I mean? That I think are really, really good. But not all remakes are good. Do you know what I mean? Some remakes ignore the source material and they do something really good with it. Some remakes try to tell you that they're giving you the original vibe, but they didn't get the original vibe, then it's less good. Some remakes do the original thing, but like, we don't need the original thing anymore, and what are you doing? Some remakes do the original thing, but they do it in a way that makes it still relevant and interesting, and that's pretty cool. So anyway, they're like, this is on a black and white, no absolutes, right? But I was very disappointed. I was disappointed in the reduction of a game that I think had a lot of really interesting political commentary, that had a lot of really interesting stuff going on, and that when you play in a slightly more serious way, when you GM Paranoia in a slightly more serious way, the kinds of things that happen are really interesting, right? So I feel like I want to give the example of what something that was really cool that Matt Mercer did was really cool, and it felt so very classic Paranoia to me, but I also know that people are saying things in chat and I need to catch up. Hey, Max Wright, you're back. I was going to tell you something, right? Paranoia is the only game where I died for making a saving throw. Nice. Was everyone being a Pinko Kame mutant not part of the original Paranoia? Yes, but that's not the same thing as the kind of who cares bloodbath. But not, and actually, technically, not everybody was a communist. You might have been part of a different secret society, you know. There are suggestions in first edition and maybe second on how to play it seriously. Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. The first edition still had a serious core to it. The fifth edition, which came right after, was written for jokes. And this was weird, yeah. They'll just let anyone into morgues. No, it's true. Logan's was one of the few movies I preferred to the book. Oh, I thought the movie was very good. Why did I get a pop-up asking me to choose your Disco Elysium feed? I don't know. If you see the overlay, just click that off. Dark humor, absurd humor, yes. Chris says, it's a plug for the game he's playing on Thursdays. You just have to click the X, yes. Most of the players tried so hard to survive, yes. Most actually did, yes. When I ran into the great outdoors, all but one survived, yes. The difference between someone doing a faithful cover of a song and a transformative cover, right? And you can both can be good, but don't do a boring cover. Do you know what I mean? You accused me, but I can't remember why. Oh, I accused you of something good, really. Yeah, no, so the thing is, but that's the thing, right? Everyone being a Pinko Kame mutant can be done like, ha ha ha, now let's shoot each other all the time, and like everybody's dead in the first half hour, and we don't take it seriously. But the thing is, if you remember anti-communist Paranoia, then that becomes not just a funny ha-ha thing. It's like, oh yeah, you know, like you can get a little bit more Twilight Zone with it. And yes, there's humor in it, right? Just like there's humor in Dr. Strangelove. But let's hear it.
Ruth Bellamy was killed by plasma damage to the upper vertebrae, the occipital bone, and the cerebellum. If it's any consolation, her death was instantaneous and painless. I've also discovered a poisonous compound in Miss Bellamy's stomach lining ingested during her last meal. Toxic, but not enough to kill her. Spencer Woolrich complained of a stomach ailment around the same time period. I assumed he was being, you know, Spencer. But now I'm not so sure.
I should go speak with Spencer then.
Conversations with Mr. Woolrich tend to spontaneously transform into monologues. You'll find him on the VIP guest floor. I'd best return to work, Inspector. Autopsies always whet my appetite, and all this talk of food is distracting me.
Okay. Interesting. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. We should probably eat food because we are apparently hungry again. Yeah, so for me, it was just like a bit of a shame because, oh, I was going to say this thing about that Matt Mercer did, I thought was so great. So Matt Mercer did a thing that was, for me, classic. What does this give you? There we go. Classic subtle Paranoia, right? Which I was very impressed by when he did it. So they were playing that one shot of Paranoia. We're saving, by the way. And he did this thing. I thought it was pretty phenomenal. there was a pen that he was using to write things with. And what he did was he, in real life, very subtly sort of planted the pen in the pocket of one of the other players, and the player didn't notice. And then at the end, when they were doing the debrief, Matt Mercer was like, well, there was this pen was used for treason, and whoever has the pen is the one who did it. And he was the one who did the treason, right? But then he planted the pen on another player, and they were like, well, didn't you have the pen? He's like, no, I never saw the pen. And he's like, is that pin in your pocket right now, Liam? And of course, then Liam checked, and Liam had the pen and didn't realize it. And of course, that got the treason. And that for me is part of that's like some of the great classic part of playing Paranoia a little bit more seriously. You know what I mean? You could, but you didn't say Chuck Juice. I always wanted them to do a longer arc in Paranoia. I wanted to know more about the Alpha Complex. I probably took the game. No, I don't think you took the game too seriously, because there's so much richness that you get when you play it. Just it's still absurdist or satirical, dark humor, right? But there's some really cool stuff you get from there. Gentlemen, please. There's no fighting the worm. This is what I mean. To be fair, I know a lot of Gen X boomers that gonzo the crap out of Paranoia. Yeah. And the thing is, so what was for me the best part of playing it a bit more seriously, right? Max says, Into the Great Outdoors, a second edition starter scenario, had a nice monologue at the end by a high-ranking NPC that was kind of disturbing. I liked it. So when I've seen people play Gonzo, they just start shooting each other. And then the game ends. Like, as a GM, I've got really nothing, like, I get to have no fun as a GM because the game is over within the first hour, because everyone just starts shooting each other. And I actually think that's out of character for the game. Because it's called Paranoia. If you all just start shooting each other from the very beginning, you're a Kami Pinko, blam, I shot you, and everybody's dead, and they bring their next clones, and the entire it's a one-shot, becomes a one-shot real quick, and it's just everybody shooting each other. It's not in character, because the computer's watching you, and if you just start shooting each other with no evidence or proof, just so, you're gonna get in trouble, right? And also, there's no game there. It's just like, I mean, if we want to do an arena, we can just do an arena. If you just want to do an arena where you shoot each other, we can do that. But the thing is, right, that you cannot just go kill fellow troubleshooters without evidence that will convince the computer, or else you will be killed, right? So the thing about the Paranoia is that you've got these secrets, right? Everybody's a mutant, and everybody's part of a secret society. Everybody's got a secret, but nobody knows technically that other people do. And so, like, you want to make sure that your secret isn't found out. You want to make sure that the computer who's watching you at all times doesn't find out your secret. You want to get promoted and raise up in rank and level so you can get more power. You want to find out the secret of the ultraviolet programmers, right? You want to go and, like, find out the secret of the outside. There are all these things you want that you're going to want. You want to not be killed by R&D, who's going to give you weird things, but you know you have to use these things in some way or try to find a way around it. There's all these things you need that if you're going to play it in a serious way, you get to explore that. And the best thing I loved doing this, was so fun. At the end of the mission, you have the mission debriefing, but as the GM, you're supposed to take the players out. Like, both at the beginning of each mission, at the end of each mission, you have one-on-one conversations with the players. Ooh, this you could do streaming really well. This could work really well streaming, because you would just have the other players not listen. So they could be on screen but not hear what's going on, have them, like, black out. So, like, you basically have these one-on-one conversations with the players to start the mission and to end the mission. And this is when you give them, like, they get the contact from their secret society who says, in this mission, here's your secret agenda, right? And at the very end is this glorious moment where the players are, like, trying to, because the thing is that players do not know if other players have thrown them under the bus or not, what was said in those secret meetings. And, like, you felt the little form, right? And you're like, so did anyone commit treason? Right? And there's this really amazing sort of chess game where none of the players know if anybody else is writing them out or not, what was said, what was not said, what the computer saw or didn't see. And you want to make sure you don't get caught lying, but you don't know what you can get away with. And there's this really amazing moment. And after everybody has their one-on-ones with the computer, everybody comes back in, and then the computer gives their announcements about what's going to happen. And you don't know without being like, well, we know that Roy G. Biv 3 did some bad stuff, and that clone's gonna have to go report to death, right? Or whatever. In some ways, it's like, you could really do Survivor really well with this, right? So if you play it in a bit more of a serious mode, then actually, your clones get to live beyond red clearance level. You might actually be able to progress your character in security clearance and get to explore more things and get more skills, and you get to actually have a character arc. But you have to you actually get to have paranoia, right? If you play it in a slightly more serious way, you really get to have the paranoia. If you just start shooting each other for the very first 5 minutes, the minute you get onto the mission, there's really no paranoia, because it's just like a free-for-all arena game, and you don't get to have any story. Do you know what I mean? And like if we're gonna do an arena, we can do that. And I know that some people just like to run around, which is fine, but to have that be the idea and perception of the only way to play paranoia, or the right way to play paranoia, makes me sad. Because I was running this campaign, we did yellow clearance, black box blues, and a bunch of other stuff, and it was so good. It was so good, and it was tense, and it was fun, and you never knew, and then people made sort of alliances with each other. It was like, I want to play some first edition. I want to run some first edition paranoia. I think that would be really good. That's all I'm going to say. You read it for college-age students. Some of them suddenly worked against each other, but no one really attacked each other. I mean, only when you can get away with it. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Jared says, I mostly see everyone getting friend computer to kill everyone in the first hour. Yeah, I mean, like, if we just, like, then what are we playing? Max Ryder says, Mongoose did 3 source books that were pretty good a while back. Troubleshooters, some Blue Level book, and Ultraviolet, which actually explains why everything is so screwed up in Alpha Complex. High Programmers was the last book. I should probably get that. Best part of running paranoia back in high school was I had a buddy whose family owned a printing company, so I had a whole bunch of forms done in triplicate and would pull them out at the drop of a hat. They had to keep them whole time or else. Oh, that sounds super fun. Max, I need to run that game again. Me too. Which he said, which is fine. He said, though his voice did not believe it. Look, it's fine. I don't want to do that, right? It makes me sad, but it's fine. Like, you don't want to yuck other people's yum, right? Do you know what I mean? And if people really enjoy playing a game where there basically is no story and they just shoot each other, and you sort of make fun of it in this way, go ahead. Like, you can do that. And if that brings you joy, it brings you joy. Go ahead and do it. The only thing that makes me sad is that later editions no longer supported the kind of style that was supported in the first and second edition. Do you see what I'm saying? What I'm saying is it's like my feeling about what happened with Vampire when the metaplot happened and the kind of style of game that was supported in second edition stopped being supported. And then everybody was like, why would you ever play that way? That's not how you're supposed to play. And I was like, but that was an option at one point in time. And so I always get a little bit sad when there was something that was there that then is removed and erased. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I am fine with people playing in other ways, but I am sad that this one way of playing that was part of it just was erased. Do you know what I mean? They did come back to it. They did sort of note that was possible in a slightly later version. So there was like 1 and 2, yes, then 3, absolutely not. And there was one of the ones in the middle where they came back to it, but yeah. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Most of the paranoid games I've ever seen never left the starter room. It's Artie Snack. Well, he doesn't want to run the arena with paranoia as the system. He wants to use scripts. Yes. If I want to run an arena game, Erased, I own 5th out of Paranoia, but never ran it. Yeah, because there's a lot of editions of Paranoia, right? And they just came out with a new one, I think. And I have first edition and then 2 of the later ones. One, Paranoia XP I have, and then there was another one, which was basically card-based. That was like, what was that called? Let me see. Let's see. 84 was the first edition, which I owned. 87 was the second edition, which I didn't. 95 was the fifth edition, which I did not get, did not appreciate that. XP I bought, and I have that. And then there's 2009, the 25th anniversary edition, and 2017, the Mongoose Kickstarter edition. Is it the Mongoose Kickstarter edition that I have? Or is it not? Let me see. 5th edition, Paranoia XP, right? I would like a picture of the 25th anniversary edition. Yeah, okay. So it was the 25th anniversary edition that reintroduced the idea of being able to play it straight. So it was the 25th anniversary edition that like came back to allowing the option, amongst others, to play it more seriously. The troubleshooters, that's Max. I think that's what we're talking about, troubleshooters. Yeah, the 25th anniversary edition. The troubleshooters volume returns to the playstyles of the XP, retains the playstyle of the XP. That was the one. I think the playstyle of the XP version was like, I don't like it. Retains the playstyles of the XP rulebook. However, the classic playstyle is assumed by default with Zap and Straight relegated to an appendix. Oh, maybe it was XP. Anyway, one of them. Alex Varney, designer of the XP edition, explained in a posting to RPGNet that this decision came about as a result of the XP edition successfully convincing the wider gaming public that Zap was not the default playstyle for the game, since it was now generally accepted that Paranoia could have a variety of playstyles, and each team would interpret it somewhat differently. It was considered no longer necessary to emphasize the different playstyles in the main text. The internal security volume includes an appendix listing 3 new styles tailored for the game: Heist, Overkill, and Horror. High Programmers does not specify playstyles. What is the card-based one? There should never be an official way to play a TTRPG, thank you. That just invites a lot of one true waysm, thank you. Thank you. That's really all I want. I just want multiplicity. The 1, 5 XP, so it's 1, 2, 5 XP, 25th anniversary, and then the new version. Yeah, I think it was the card-based one, which was a Kickstarter. So I think I've got 1 XP and then the Kickstarter version. Those are the 3 that I have. That's what I got. Let's look at the autopsy report to see if something wasn't told to us. Those are the 3. I want to run the Kickstarter version because it's card-based, and I think that's interesting. But I would really like to run the first edition, which had this really cool skill tree. I also really need to run Phoenix Born. No, there's the card-based one. The card-based one, you know, the one where your character dies multiple times. But the question is, can I get that for... I mean, if I can get a PDF of it all, then I could load everything up into a VTT to run it online. I got the books free for reviewing them. Oh, that's cool. By the way, what is that game? It's in one of my boxes, so it's not here, so I can't tell you which one it is. Which one is it? It's called, it's the one where you die. It's like, it's got Phoenix in it, maybe. The only problem is right now I'm thinking about the card game, Phoenix Rise of the Phoenixborn, and that is not it. This is an RPG that uses cards, and it's like Phoenix Dawn, Dawn, Phoenix Dawn, Phoenix Dawn. That's probably not it at all. Year of the Phoenix, right? Year of the Phoenix? Year of the Phoenix RPG, was that it? No, Year of the Phoenix was from 86. This is a newer game. This is called, like... No. It's an RPG, but this is there's an RPG with that use cards. Carl's like, maybe I'm weird, but I feel like there's a few numbers missing here. Maybe. Yeah, no, not, everybody, there's an RPG, it's in a box over there that I have not unpacked because I didn't know what was going on next year. And, like, where I was gonna be living, and I was like, do I want to unpack all of those boxes if I'm gonna have to pack them up and move again? So it's in a box over there, but it is, and I have to run it. What was it called? Come on, everybody. Fuhukwa Gods. Somebody give me the game. Phoenix Point was ultimately a point and click game. No, come on. What is this game? Phoenix RPG. Here we go. Phoenix Dawn Command. That was the name of it. Phoenix Dawn Command was the name of the RPG. And I got it when it came out. And here's a link to it if you want to see it. It uses Tarot-style cards. It's from the designer. It was by Keith Baker, right? Who also did Illimat, which is Keith Baker and Dan Garrison. It's one of the reasons why I picked it up. From the designer of Eberron for Dungeons & Dragons comes the RPG Phoenix Dawn Command. Featured on Geek and Sundry's Starter Kit series, Phoenix is a fantasy role-playing game perfect for beginners and those who are looking for a rich storytelling and collaborative RPG experience. Each copy of Phoenix has all the materials needed for 4 players and the DM. Ships from the US only. You create a character and you have abilities using cards, like your character is built through cards. But when you die, you are a certain kind of person that is able to be reborn when you die, and basically XP happens, like character advancement happens through death, is what happens, right? It's the process of dying and being reborn that gives you advancement. And I was like, I really need to run that. The question is, can I? If I'm probably gonna be running it in a VTT. So the question is, can I get everything on PDF so that I can make it? Hey, everybody, Bahukwa Gods. I just pulled up DriveThruRPG to find out if this game is on DriveThruRPG in PDF format. And what do I see? What do I see greeting me? I see a banner ad for Twilight Imperium, an RPG sourcebook for the Genesis system. I know that some people are it's currently the #1 best-selling title on DriveThruRPG. And I know that some of you really like the Genesis system, and I thought that I should tell you about it, since some of you might be really interested in that. Just letting you know, because maybe you were interested. Phoenix Dawn Command. Because if I could get it in PDF version, then I could run it online. Okay. I actually did just Bahukwa Gods. I did. All this about paranoia makes me want a solo crossover with Ironsworn. Ooh. Ooh. I remember seeing Amy Vorpal's group running this. I'm looking to pick that one up next pay period. Yeah. Hey, Rebecca and Miracle. I'm very well. How are you? Twilight Imperium, a board game that takes a minimum of 15 hours. So I own the board game Twilight Imperium because I got it like 70% off in one of like on a sale. So I have it and I want to play it. I just have not done so yet. I would need to find people who want to play a hardcore war game that takes a while, and maybe you do it in more than one sitting. So I need that, and I do not currently have that. You're okay. By the way, how was work? Was it good? Artie says, I'm a big fan of the Genesis system, but I play too few games to buy any more of them. That's fair. Here's a list again. RPGs, consoles, Logan's Run, some other stuff I didn't write down. How about Aftermath? Ever play that? Thank you, Rissa. So complicated. It's ridiculous. No, I haven't played that one. My first war game was Africa Corps. Avalon Hill war game, because they had a like, I always wanted to play war games. I saw them advertised and I saw them in the stores, you know what I mean? In the RPG stores. But like none of the war gamers were friendly. And I really wanted to play a war game. And Africa Corps had in its rule book, it was 2 people, and it had in its rules a way to play by post. So, and it had to do with stock markets, right? It was like you had to, instead of rolling dice, you would use the stock market in the newspaper, and you would get the number that way. So there's a way to like do to play by post with another person using the newspaper. And I had a friend who lived not in the same place as me. And I bought 2 copies of Africa Core so we could play via post. And we got, I think, 1 game in. But I always wanted to play that. Sorry, Trevor, I would offer to come up to play, but anything but that. I swear never to play that game again. But I want to play with somebody cool. Aftermath is a tabletop RPG post-apocalyptic. Oh, that sounds interesting. I remember that one. And did you really? Yeah, I ended up playing... the easiest way to wargame is probably through virtual tabletop on Steam. Although you could probably do it in VTT as well. The old war games where it's just little chits, you just need an overhead map and a hex map. Like, you could do that in pretty much any VTT, I think. Really. Tabletop simulator, if you really, like, I personally do not really want to deal with Tabletop Simulator as a GM. That just feels like way too much work for me. And the #1 selling point that people gave me for Tabletop Simulator is, yeah, and if you get upset, you can just flip the table and everything goes flying everywhere. It's like, that is not what I want. I do not want to spend all this time and effort that I could be spending prepping other things to make this whole 3D thing, and then players are just like, woo! Don't want it. Just not. And you know the whole thing where like the D&D 1 thing, they're like, look at our new virtual tabletop, it's all 3D. I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Just 3D, I just don't want to have to deal with creating 3D assets or buying them or... yeah, that just feels like way too much work. On most other 2D VTTs, I can just pull out a pencil tool and draw a rough map like in the last second if I need to. It just seems like so much work. That's all. Rebecca says, my job went well. My 2 patients come through their operations well. Oh, good. Before I came home, I prescribed them strong painkillers. I have a story about that. There's a science fiction RPG you saw advertised in the 80s that never came out, Imperium something. Oh, yeah. Played HeroClix and Roll20. Oh! I meant for a war game, not an RPG. Yeah, but see, there are 2 different types of war games, right? The war games that are all 3D and everyone paints their miniatures, right? Everyone paints their miniatures, da-da-da. But Africa Core... a bunch of those Avalon Hill games were not miniature-based. They were just like 1 hex map with little cardboard pieces, which you would do as tokens, right? If you're going to do this in Roll20, you would just overlay the map, just flat map, JPEG right on there, and then just make tokens for each one of those things from like, basically you make them as cards, and then you just drive them out, and then you just have to roll a 2d6, and that'd be pretty irritating to like import the JPEGs, but once you're done, that'd be pretty easy. I think that Trooper has a story about just about everything. That's true. Chit games. Yes, the little chit games, yeah. War game versus tactical minis game. Yes. Let me read this. Name, Ruth Bellamy. Cause of death, plasma damage to upper vertebrae, occipital bone, cerebellum. Shot in the head, right? An autopsy report on Ruth Bellamy, formerly Halcyon Helen. Could this be the apex of my profession? Bellamy's corpse shows evidence of several possible causes of death, but determined the killing blow was plasma damage to her upper vertebrae, occipital bone, and cerebellum. Death was instantaneous and painless, which means multiple people were trying to kill her. Frankly, her death may have come as a relief. She was unwell prior to the attack. High concentration of poisonous compounds in her stomach lining. Ingested during her last meal. Not lethal, but uncomfortable in the extreme. Spencer Woolrich complained of a similar stomach ailments. Is this a problem common to professional actors? Or they were poisoned. Patient logs. Okay. Hartford Bosch. Logan's Run. I just want to say that I loved Logan's Run. I thought it was great. It captured my imagining in this really massive way, and it really impacted how I ran Paranoia. Right? I really wanted that sort of... Like, when everyone died in Carousel, that was like... Yeah. Also, Farrah Fawcett was in that. Yes. Logan's Run was really good. I need to run Paranoia First Edition. It's really what I need to do. I really need to do that. I need to run, but I need that to not be a one-shot. I need that to be like a good, let's say novella style, like a good mini-series, like 6 to 10, I feel like would be a good Paranoia length. 5th-year resident neurosurgeon, so my patients need strong painkillers. Operations on their brain leads to neural discomfort. Ooh, run, runner! I want a Logan's Run LARP. Oh, that would be very good. Tactical minis could also be done easily enough on Roll20 if you turn off snapping. Oh, that's true. So Rebecca, I need to tell you something that will get you to yell at me. It's okay. I understand that I need to be yelled at for this, so it's okay. I don't like painkillers. I do not like the feeling of opiates. I do not like how they feel. I was talking to somebody who was addicted to opiates, and they described the feeling of opiates, and they're like, here's this feeling. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And they're like, isn't that great? I was like, no, I hate that feeling. I hate it. I do not like the feeling of being on opiates at all. I don't like it. And because I've had to be on opiates from like surgeries and whatnot, you know? And so here's the thing. I don't like the feeling of opiates. And so I have a big major surgery. And I remember after I had chest surgery, you know, the doctor's like, okay, hey, so here's some heavy duty, like codeine or whatever it was, something heavy duty painkillers. Before you go to bed tonight, make sure you take 2 of these. Do not take them. You must take them. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I get home. I was actually not at home because I was staying on the couch of a friend for this, because he had to travel to get the surgery. I was living in LA and I had to go up to San Francisco to get the surgery. And but like after chest surgery, it's like, that's pretty major surgery and you can't move your arms. And so I needed a place to stay. A friend said, you can stay on my couch. So I get there, I get home, not home, but like to her apartment. And I'm like, it's getting to be nighttime. And I was like, I hate how I feel on painkillers. And I feel fine right now. So I don't think I need to actually take these painkillers. So I did not take them. That was a bad choice. One of the reasons why I don't like painkillers is because I make poor choices when I'm on painkillers. Not like murder people poor choices, but things like, oh, I don't need to take my painkillers because I feel fine right now. That was a poor choice. That was a poor choice. Rebecca's like, there are quite a few people who dislike the feeling. Yeah, I just don't like it. Random says, when I had my surgeries, they always give me the heavy stuff and say take 2 every 4 hours. And I maybe take 1 at bedtime in the first 2 nights and then take Tylenol the rest of the time. Yeah. Yes, see, Volvas knows exactly where that story was going. Bad move when the anesthetic wears off, because that is exactly what happened. I didn't think I needed to take them after a major surgery that happened only a few hours earlier because I was feeling fine. So I went to bed on the couch without having taken the painkillers. And then I woke up at 2 in the morning and it was bad. It was bad. I felt it was bad. It wasn't good. And I was like, well, I made a bad choice. I made a bad choice. And of course, once the pain hits, it's harder. Like, it's not good. It was bad. So then I took my pain medication like I was supposed to. Although I always quit early. Yeah, well, the painkillers we give are IV given. Yeah, and like I had those IV painkillers, but then when they let you go, because it was outpatient surgery. So like it was massive surgery. Actually, yeah. So that was outpatient surgery. So they were like, okay, we did all this surgery on you. You have gaping wounds. Go home. And I was like, thanks. And they're like, make sure you take your painkillers. I was like, sure I will. Then I didn't. And I was like, oh, that was a mistake. And so then I did. But like, again, poor judgment. Volpus has been there. See, you know. Random says, when I'm in the hospital, fine, I'm supervised, so give me whatever because I can't get in too much trouble. But I don't even like it in the hospital, and it's because, let me read this. Hartford Bosch complains of back pains. Another day, another case that bores me to drink. The ill-fated Byzantine of the hour thought it prudent to gorge himself on enough purple-berry wine to incapacitate a primal. He then attempted to reach the lobby by stairs rather than elevator and fell down 6 flights. Automechanical servants broke his fall. He broke their servo mechanisms and will be billed accordingly. Fractures in left clavicle, right femur, parietal bone, ribs, more injuries than brain cells. I recommend replacing purple berry wine with Rizzo's Spectrum Violet in order to appease Rizzo's company policy. Wow. Patient Nina Hahn, extreme excitability. Finally, it's something a little different from the norm. Ms. Han came in earlier today, escorted by her sister. Apparently, not long after arriving on Eridanos, the two of them went on a trip through the Purpleberry orchards. Ms. Han's sister visited the puzzle hedges, but quickly became lost. When she eventually made her way out, Ms. Han was nowhere to be found. The sister claims that Ms. Han returned to their hotel room several hours later, but has been unusual ever since. Her sister described the patient as formerly sullen, morose, phlegmatic, and given to melancholia. Her demeanor has transformed into an unpleasant degree of levity and shocking enthusiasm toward everything. I suggested vast quantities of cheap alcohol. This means that the parasite thing has gotten outside of the Purpleberry hedges, and that's bad. We'll leave the conversation because we're good, but also clearly we're going to have to eat more food because we were hanging out chatting, and apparently that's the thing that happens, but I want to find out what chat has to say. And then I'll tell you why I don't like being on painkillers. Ristus, I expect you were not the first to make that mistake. No, I expect I was not either, and I didn't like it. I didn't like it. When I'm in the hospital, yeah. Once the pain threshold breaks, it is a strong tide to stop. Let me, no, I don't need to do this. I need to eat food because they keep saying that I need to do that. I cannot remember whether or not beverages will count as food, and I really feel like they don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they are not, I feel like they don't count. Here, let's save. Even though, you know. Yes. Resume. And we'll talk about no filters.
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's
Thanks.
a pleasure to see you again.
Thanks.
How may I be of assistance to you, Inspector?
Oh, I need to access the VIP guest floor.
I'd love to, Inspector, but I don't really have the authority. Moreover, the guests were promised exclusivity. If I let you up there, I'll never hear the end of it.
Yeah. But the only guest to have a problem with me being up there would be the murderer.
That's a good point. If they give me guff, I can just tell them that they're obstructing justice. That has a nice ring to it. I can just set you up with VIP guest floor access.
Thank you.
You can now come and go as you please.
Thank you. So we do need to speak to this Spencer guy, but I want to go to one of the other islands and try to find, because I feel like that'll be very exciting for when we start the next session, is to just head to, like, be right ready there. This is random. Most recently I had my appendix out. Oof. And the only reason I agreed to pain meds was because I have a high pain tolerance and was curled up in a ball suffering from pain. Yeah, I also have a high pain tolerance, so yes. Parietal bone. Side and top of the head. Parietal bone. Off to start your stream. Okay, Max. I will see you. See you soon. Eat, drink, be Jezza. You have the food and drink. 315, thank you. Got like 15. So the very first time as an adult that I took, really the first time I took painkillers, right? Serious one was when I was in the army, and I broke my collarbone. Well, someone tripped me, which resulted in a broken collarbone. You know how that is. Somebody tripped me on purpose. They said it was an accident, but it was not an accident. Cool. We got to speak to Spencer Woolworth. I have to meet him at the weather monitoring station on the Phaeton Pilot House. Profit of Profitability. And the Botanical Operations. So let's see what we have here. I feel like we have not been hardly anywhere on this place. And that looks really impressive, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like we should check it out. We should head that way on our map. I don't know where it leads, but we should find out. Do you want to see if you have another murder to solve? There's that dude waiting. I know there is a dude waiting for me somewhere, so I feel like we'll probably... Oh, hey! Hey! Wrong gun. You should leave me alone. Also, you should leave me alone. Also, I did not realize we'd be running around. Why were you trying to... I was just walking around town. There's a leg. That was a leg, by the way. I was just walking around town. I was not running around trying to go and get to a fight with anybody. That was very inappropriate. I don't appreciate that. People trying to murder me. Oh, that was a parasite spawning. I feel like we've been here because I think that's where our ship is based, right? So we've been there. We know that. I do not think we've been here, and I feel like we should be here because this is where we will... I don't know if we've been here, though. Maybe find new stuff, and we can set ourselves up for success for next week. I do actually think we have probably walked around this area because I'm pretty sure that's the place where our... What a nice hotel. I mean, not nice, you know what I mean. It's impressive. I'm pretty sure that's where our ship is. So let's go here because we've never been over here, and that seems exciting. See? Bridge Hotel to Spaceport. Have we... Well, we're going to go to these machines, these vending machines, because that's how we sell things, so that you can be proud of me. Yes. So, I've been there. The pain during appendicitis and also following the appendectomy is no joke. Yeah. This is pure food, Inspector Morse hoisting this pint. As a doctor, I should dispute that. I suppose the better ones have tried. Dr. Graham Russell, The Secret of Annex 5B. There's a leg. Replica says, the most painful surgery I do is on the nerves of the spine. Oh, really? It's brutal pain. Patient doesn't move for days. Oof, that sounds rough. Also, Rebecca, that's really cool that you're doing surgery. Like, I think that's really great because I have a story for you. Random says, yeah, it was awful. Mine ruptured after they got it out of me. I was thankful for an adjustable bed when I got home because I could get help sitting up without asking for it. Yeah. So what I wanted to say about surgery, we're going to sell this. We're going to sell a bunch of things to get money is what we're going to do. And we're going to sell everything that is level 32 and lower. I feel like 32 is a pretty good cutoff, right? Except that things have a little special thing on it. I feel like we should probably keep. Those are 33s, 34s, at least for now. Here's the thing. We will sell those things after I'm going to basically equip all of my people and make sure they have the best weapons that I have available. We're keeping 33, right? Yes. Yes. So anything 33 and up we'll keep for the moment. And then I will go and make sure that my companions have the best weapons, and then whatever is left over, I will also either break that down or sell it. Right? So that's my plan. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. I'm gonna keep... I might need that. I probably don't. Look! I sold things. Should be proud of me. I'm gonna put this gun away. Ooh. Wait. 0? Yes. Okay. I'm gonna go and pickpocket this person.
What do you think you're doing?
Nothing.
Just don't let me
Nothing.
hit you again, all right?
Yeah, sure. Will you maybe not move when I'm trying to pick your pocket? Rude. Rude. Sorry. Also, we're gonna just steal everything because we got caught, and that makes me sad. So this is what happened. My very first, oh, I was going to tell you about my very first surgery and being on painkillers, but now I have to tell you a different story about surgeons. So I was watching a little YouTube video essay, I think it was, on this surgeon, who, he was like this guy, he wanted to be a surgeon, it was really important for him, right? And he failed out of surgery school. There was like an oral exam that he failed at. Like he did, like, I think he did mostly everything, but he did not succeed at being a surgeon. He did not get certified. And so he could not do that job because he did not get certified. And he felt that was unfair because he felt like he should be able to be a surgeon. Did it. Oh, I'm glad that person didn't see us pickpocket, but we just pickpocketed, and I feel very good about that. It's just what I wanted to say. I would also really like to pickpocket this person, but I don't want that other person to see me. Oh, hey, how you doing? Or that person, really. Anyhow. So, this guy was like, I still want to be a surgeon. That's what I want to do. And...
Inspector, good to see you. Let
hi.
me just grant you access and...
Oh, thanks.
Welcome to the Piraeus spaceport.
Oh. Wow. Okay. I don't think we've been here. I don't even think I know what's up here. But we'll set ourselves up for success when we start the game again, right? So what happened was that... Thank you, Seven. What happened was that he wanted to be a surgeon anyway, even though he was not qualified to be one. This was like in the 70s and 80s. I did 6 years at Duke Med School, toughest classes ever, right? Yeah, and he did not pass. And he decided he still wanted to be a surgeon because it was his calling. And he thought, well, who can I do surgeries on who are desperate? Which people are desperate enough that they will pay me money to do surgeries on them and maybe not ask about my qualifications so much? And he determined that the best population that he could do his surgery on would be trans people. Because we're talking about the 70s and 80s, and there was lots and lots of gatekeeping. Many trans folks couldn't get medical care at all. They certainly couldn't get access to surgeries if they wanted them. They wanted medical care for transition, and it was very difficult because people had made it almost impossible to get sort of trans-affirming care. And without, like, there was a lot of hoops and questionableness about wanting to get the care you needed to, like, deal with your dysphoria and all of that. A lot of weird gatekeeping. For example, they would not let you transition if you would be queer after your transition, right? So if you would be like a trans woman who's a lesbian or a trans man who's gay, they just wouldn't let you transition if you were honest about it. They wouldn't let you transition unless you would be super gender normative after transition. They wouldn't let you be like, you know, a butch trans woman or like a femme trans man. Like there's just a lot of gatekeeping, and a lot of people could not get care because, you know, it was very difficult. And so he's like, I will just go and do, you know, trans surgeries, even though I do not have a license, but they're not going to know. And so he did all these surgeries on trans people. He also had no training in doing trans surgeries. He just experimented on people, and, you know, his surgery spaces were not clean. He was not a licensed surgeon or doctor. So, you know, the locations and the gear and all the stuff, like, it was all very questionable. And he did work for like a couple decades. And then he got in trouble a couple of times. So he had to go to Mexico and keep doing work there. And right just on the other side of the border. And people, you know, were desperate, but they were really messed up. And he ended up getting arrested and going to jail because someone died in his care. Why is there trouble ahead? Why is there trouble? I don't see any. We should save. There was a guy who. There are a group of people who want to be amputated, right? There's nothing wrong with their body physically, but they want amputation. And there was this guy, and like basically nobody's gonna like. There are almost no surgeons who give people voluntary amputations. That is just kind of not, we're gonna sit right here. We're gonna go to the main menu because we're at that time. We will accept this. And there was this guy, and he wanted an amputation on his leg, and this fake surgeon was like, "Sure, I'll do it." And so amputated his leg, and then it was like outpatient. So like, I amputated your leg, here, go. And the guy went to a hotel room, and then he bled out and died because this guy who was the surgeon was not a good surgeon. He was not actually a surgeon, right? He didn't. There are things you need to do when you amputate. Apparently, when you amputate people's limbs, when it comes to like flaps, you need to have like. There's a thing you need to do to make it so that the person does not bleed out and die, but the flap failed because he was not a qualified surgeon, and this guy died, and then that's how he was caught, right? And that's how he went to jail because of that. But yeah, so to have surgeons who are qualified to do their job and to actually care and will do transforming care, I just think is really important. So I have a lot of respect for actual surgeons. People who actually are qualified to do that job is what I'm going to say. Shame that TTRPG games doesn't have this more medieval sort of medical care. Stub toe can be fatal after a removed leg. You know what, Rissa? I should have my evidence detector out, and I will when we come back. A couple decades, oh my God, I don't think I want to know how many people he operated. Yeah, he operated on hundreds of people without any qualifications. Rebecca says, I understand the alphabet family fight. Shows my lesbian pride pin on my lab coat. Yes, right? And also, even if you don't need trans-affirming surgeries, sometimes you just need medical care where the doctors are not discriminatory against you. Do you know what I mean? Where you can walk in, be a lesbian, and they're not going to ask you weird questions and like shame you and like when you're getting your like pelvic exams. You know what I mean? It's really important to have medical care, medical professionals who are affirming and who have had anti-racist training. You know what I mean? Like, these things are important. These things are important. Didn't get caught until he operated on a cis person. Yeah, that's what happened, right? He operated on a cis person, and that's when he got caught. So, yeah. And, like, he messed up people real bad, real bad. But he did get caught in the end, so that's good. But the point is, in this moment, we're getting states banning trans-affirming care, and also Roe v. Wade was just overturned. If people do not have access to the health care they need, they often find people who will give it to them, and those people are often not qualified, and then people die. You know what I mean? So I hope we can work some stuff out so that people can get the care they need and not have to go to some weird back alley person. You know, that they're like back alley people that will put cement, liquid cement in people's bodies. You know? So, like, I just hope we can get to a space where people can get access to the health care they need so that they, you know, don't have to turn to really questionable places. That's all I'm saying. I'm extremely gay. I understand the fight. Okay, so Rebecca, I'm gonna be going really soon, but now I have to actually say something because you remind me of a song lyric. And that song lyric makes me very happy, and I have to share it with you. 2 song lyrics. Oh my gosh, Rebecca, 2 song lyrics for you. 2 very queer song lyrics for you. I just need to sing these for you. Random says, I think something that ticks me off about medical care is it's very much a man's world, yes. When we get told constantly that period pain, which was just realized can be as bad as a heart attack, was not that bad. You're hysterical. Absolutely. My mother gave birth alone because when she told that to me, she was in a hospital bed, not in a OBGYN space. She was just in the hospital room. And she's like, I'm going into labor. And the doctor's like, no, you're not. I'm a doctor, and you're a 19-year-old black woman. You don't know what you're talking about. And he left her there alone. He's like, I'll come back in like 8 hours when you'll really be going to labor. And she gave birth to me by herself all alone in this hospital room because nobody believed her when she said she was going into labor. You know what I mean? Happens all the time. It's really bad. Medical and mental care. Yes, Volp is also mental care. So very proud of my friend who owns and runs a very inclusive and even kink-friendly therapy office. Oh, Volpez, that's so wonderful. That's so wonderful. Because that's also really important. Carlin says medical discrimination is very intersectional. There's lots of biases come into play. Yes. Yes. Fat phobia, the ways in which bias against sanism, right? Bias against people with mental health also comes in like physical health and vice versa. Like there's so much. It is such a class, so much. Yes. Hescape says the main argument in the UK to prevent them trying to reverse our abortion law is if you make it illegal, then we'll go back to backstreet abortions. Yeah. Random says, black women in particular, oh my God, a friend had a doctor tell her to her face, black women don't feel pain. It was bred out of your kind when we're all slaves. And you're like, what? Yeah. No, absolutely. People still think that. There are still people who think that black people don't feel pain as much as other races. And so then they don't prescribe them painkillers. It's just like bad. Do you know what I mean? And it does have an impact because like I get really I get really nervous around painkillers. I don't want to ask for them because I'm afraid they're going to think things about me. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just like internalized fear of like them being racist. But like, yeah, it's rough. It is rough. But I have 2 songs for Rebecca, 2 song lyrics for Rebecca because I promised. One is from the song I Think He's Gay by the drag queen Pussy Tourette. And this one is, Pussy Tourette doesn't actually sing this song. Two opera singing women, sopranos, sing it. And these 2 women are singing about this guy that they would like to date. And the point of the song is they think that he's gay, but they're not certain. And they give you all the reasons why they think he's gay. And it's good. And it's good. And actually, that's not the one. It's actually This Boy's a Bottom by DWV, Drag Queens DWV, Detox, Willem, and Vicky Vox. And it's the song This Girl's on Fire, but they turned it into This Boy's a Bottom. And one of the lines is, girl, you know you're super gay. Oh. But just, girl, you know you're super gay. That's a great line. And then the other line I wanted to share with you was, but aren't all black people addicted? Yes, it's like both. They're both addicted, but also like whatever. But that's why you know that if a black person asks for painkillers, it's sus because they don't feel pain, so they're only wanting it for drug reasons, right? That's a great jag name that cannot type in chat. Yeah. So the other one is from the song View from a Gay Head by Alex Dobkin, which is all about, well, any woman can be a lesbian is the song. And the line is, I want to get the lead up to it. So, because if I just give you the best line, which is the best line ever, it's the best line ever, but then you don't get the lead up. Let me see if I can think. Hold on. And then I'll give you the chorus too, because the chorus is really good. But it is, I heard Cheryl Mary say, but the beginning, but it's like, it's the end, right? Where it's, so the sexes do battle, they batter about. The men's are the sexes I can live without. I will return to the bosom where my journey ends, where there's no penis between us friends. Will I see you again when you're a lesbian? Lesbian in no man's land. Lesbian. Every woman can be a lesbian. But I'm going to just tell you, where there's no penis between us friends is one of the best song lyrics ever in the world. It's one of the best song lyrics ever. And that is a true fact. That is just a true fact. You just all need to know it. And now that I have sung it to you, you all know it as well. That's all. Yes, it's so good. I mean, look, there's no penis between us friends. That's a great internal rhyme, and it's hilarious. Come on, it's so good. I love that. It makes me laugh. And also, rhyming can with lesbian is awkward, and I also find that somewhat charming. So good. But y'all, it is time for me to go. it's that 3:30 time, and classes have finished. I've got grading to do, and I've got final presentations and more grading and lots of meetings, so I'm not done yet. But this day, I am going to make some food, like actually cook some food, and then I'm going to go and do some traveling. I'm going to do email. So I've got like students who want things from me. So I'm going to do some email, but then I am going to do some Traveler. I'm going to get ahead on Traveler. I've got some stuff that I want to do to like, I've got some value added stuff that I have been threatening for a while, and I'm really excited to do some of it. And it's going to be really good, y'all. So I want to give it like a little bit of extra Traveler stuff today. And also, now that I'm thinking about some of the things that I have been reminded of right here, I want to see if I can do a little bit of extra stuff. A little bit of extra stuff. So, where can this? I'm reminded of a Poe poem, something about no hymen between us. Twitter list challenge: awkward rhyme songs. Oh, Vulpes. Awkward rhymes. If you want to hear awkward rhymes, go off and find the song Jealous by Gene Loves Jezebel. Some of the worst rhymes ever. That has got things like, who's hurt you, baby? I like you a lot. You are so beautiful, and that is a fact. Yeah. Rhyming a lot with a fact. That's a bad rhyme. That's a bad rhyme. That's real bad. And that is not the only really bad rhyme in that song. That one is so bad, though. I see the sun going shining through the cloudy skies. It makes me happy, makes me, like, proud to be alive. Yeah! So, like, skies with alive, also not a good rhyme. That's a bad one. It's a bad rhyme. But a lot with a fact is so terrible that it tickles me pink. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's bad. It's almost any late 80s, early 90s songs. Yeah, just 10 Smash Mouth songs. Also, side note, I personally do not like that in that song. You know the song. I can't remember the title, but it bothers me that the rhyme is hot like wasabi, I make mad rhymes, just like Leanne rhymes, because I'm all about value, because you should not be rhyming rhymes with rhymes. I don't think that's a rhyme. You just use this, I don't like it. I think it's cheap. But I do like hot like wasabi, I make mad rhymes. That first line, I think, is really good. I like that. Hot like wasabi, I make mad rhymes. I think that's good. Just like Leanne rhymes is now not good. You should have said something else. Because I'm all about value. Anyway, I didn't like it. It doesn't tickle me. But we rhyme orange with orange. It's not a rhyme, though. That's a bad rhyme, but it's hilarious. Yes, it is. But it's a homophone, so, but it... I just don't... I feel like it's cheap. I feel like it's cheap. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I should go... Oh, by the way, I'm going to let you know what I'm going to make. I'm going to go and make biscuits and gravy. I've got some Italian sausage, and I'm going to make biscuits and gravy. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to put in some, like, oregano and Italian seasoning in there, and I've got the cream for it, and that is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to make homemade biscuits and gravy, and I feel like that's going to be really fun. And I may not actually do that right now. I might just heat up a breakfast burrito that I made, which also sounds really good. But I'm going to do one of those two things, and it's going to be quality. And then I'm going to do really cool things for Traveler, which... That's all. Trooper, do you know the song Cowboys Are Freakily Suited Find Each Other? Yes, I do. We have a cover done by Willie Nelson. Who will cover anything? Yes, it was originally done a little bit earlier. I do know that song, actually. Yes. As a British person, I know that's not real biscuits. I mean, I could also make cookies. But the thing is, you don't have biscuits. You don't have American biscuits. You have scones, which are not our biscuits. You know what I mean? Like, we have a style of biscuit that you don't have in the UK, which is what we call biscuits. You call biscuits cookies. or we call biscuits cookies. And then scones are cookies and gravy would not be tasty. But I'm gonna make some like drop biscuits, and I'm gonna make, or I'll just heat up my breakfast burrito. We'll find out. We'll just find out. We'll find out. But here's what I'm gonna do right now, because I feel like this is the moment where we can do this. We should just find out if there's anybody we can raid to give some love to folks, because we should. And Murgles, I've played with Murgles in Roll20 and Table Story, and I love Murgles. So we're going to go and raid Murgles because I love Murgles, and I haven't spoken to Murgles in a while, and I want to give Murgles some love. So let's go and give Murgles some love. This is our raid command, if you would like to do it. And wait, hot take, British biscuits and gravy is cookies and cream. Ooh, nice. I love that. I love that very much. So look, let's go and give Murgles some love, who's an amazing artist and a great RPer, and who I just think is brilliant in every single way. So we're going to give Murgles some love, and we're going to do it. We're going to raid now. Let's go raid and give them love. Thank you for being here, everyone. I really appreciate you. Find me on all the socials, right? Twitter at Academic Foxhole, Patreon at Academic Foxhole to support the RPGs, here, and YouTube at Trooper SJP. YouTube has the archive of my shows. I've got a merch store that was linked, and we've got a Discord. Those are all the things, and let's go raid Murgles and give Murgles love. Everybody, love you all. Y'all are the best. I will catch you all on the flip side, everybody. Bye.